channel. You know, folks, Tucker Carlson is out there somewhere tonight, I'm sure, saying, thank you, Megyn Kelly, for taking the heat off of me. Because, man, Megyn Kelly, earlier this week, a couple days ago, she said something you have to hear to believe. In her shameless crusade to defend Donald Trump and his corrupt administration at all costs, all the folks like Cigar over there at Breaking Points who thought we were sitting up talking about nobody cares about the Epstein story. And I'm like, this dude, you don't know what you're talking about. And of course, the Epstein story is back with a vengeance because it never went anywhere. Well, Megyn Kelly, because Trump is the scandal machine that just won't quit, Megyn Kelly decides this. She is going to attempt to play defense attorney in this case. And I guess, for those of you who don't know, Megyn Kelly is actually a lawyer. Somebody somewhere gave her a degree. And obviously, she's just gotten way out over her skis and decided that, don't worry, I'm smart enough and skilled enough at this that I can clean this up. So she went on her YouTube channel and she attempted to do just that. So in a piece that you have to hear to believe, and you still won't believe it, we got folks out there, Megyn Kelly, you got folks out there, I mean, her name is Megyn Kelly, but if you take a look at it online right now, folks are referring to her as Megyn R. Kelly. What? Yeah, folks are out there referring to her as Megyn R. Kelly. So, hear it for yourselves.
Their justice. And the whole ring idea, I think, has been wildly blown out of proportion for these political reasons.
I don't know about ring, but there are definitely a couple of very well-connected people who have not been brought to justice. I'm not going to repeat the names here, but one of them is a very, very successful business owner. No, I don't want to get sued. But one.
Well, isn't it amazing? All these people are terrified of the folks on the Epstein list. They're terrified of, quote, getting sued. These are people who work for news organizations, or at least they did. They get sued all the time. And yet, for this particular list, they're worried about getting sued. I don't think they're worried about being sued. I think they're worried about getting disappeared, is what they're worried about. Because if you believe what happened to Ghislaine Maxwell's father, and all of a sudden the mortality rate around Jeffrey Epstein has skyrocketed, these folks don't sue you. That's the issue. They don't sue you. They make your ass come up missing, is what they do. You come up missing, you come up drowned, you come up unalive. So, and I think Megyn's really more worried about that.
One of them is a hugely successful business owner who seems to be a bit of a pervert, and his name is all over the papers. His connections to Epstein are very, very well known. They were connected financially. They were connected as friends. And I want to know more about him. There's plenty who I want to know more about who have been publicly linked to Epstein and seem to have dodged responsibility. That's my own take on it. It's not that I'm not referring to secret names only I know. I'm talking about names that are in the paper. But again, without hardcore proof, you shouldn't say their names because you don't know whether it's true. But, people know the names. We've heard them many, many times. Anyway, I do think there are some who are so well connected or did such a good job of hiding their tracks that they'll never be facing real charges. As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, Oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. You can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah. You know, it's just whatever. It's sick. Every time we start talking about Epstein, it makes your skin crawl. Right? The whole thing is just disgusting.
Totally.
What? Yeah, y'all heard that for yourselves. I'll let the whole thing play. Fair use, Megyn. Fair use. I'll let the whole thing play so nobody can say she was taken out of context. And you heard that for yourselves. There is a difference between being 15 and being 5. I mean, it wasn't like anybody came out and said I was like 10. So she's like, there's a difference between being 10 and being 15, or being 15 and being 5. You know, I mean, Megyn wants us all to know, hey, there's nuance to this, man. It's not just cut and dry.
To know virtually everything, not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby.
They could pass for younger than they were, but they would look legal to a passerby. Folks, I mean, now you got to start asking some different questions. Who are these people, man? Who are these people? Who's really out here? And by the way, one more thing. Isn't this Megyn Kelly? Damn! Wasn't she just there on the stage with Tucker Carlson at Turning Point here last week, regaling all of us about her Christian values and, you know, this and that? Isn't this the same Megyn Kelly? The same Megyn Kelly who believes in demons? Well, I guess she does. So, yeah, folks, I wanted you to hear that right there. I wanted you to hear that so that you understand that just how deep off this goes. And by the way, this is not the only one. This is just the latest one. She's actually said this before. She was talking to, what's his name? Andrew Schultz. Over there, Brilliant Idiots. She was talking to Andrew Schultz. So when she talked to Andrew, she said the exact same thing you just heard. When she talked to Andrew Schultz here, she said the same thing to him. And you thought when they were trying to float the 50-year mortgage thing that they were out of line. You thought they were all the way out of line when they were trying to float that 50-year mortgage thing, remember? I mean, we thought right then, hey, y'all, there's no way you can clean this up. And, yeah, you thought it was all the way out of line. Then you didn't know. How many of y'all saw this coming? How many of you saw this one? It makes that 50-year mortgage seem downright reasonable. At this point, it's like, wait a minute, is that 50-year mortgage still available? Because she talking about, you know, there's a difference between 10 and 15. I mean, so your 12-year-olds are fair game now? Can I get that 50-year mortgage right quick? Can y'all bring that back? Can I get paperwork on that right back? Because she talking about the that it's negotiable between 10 and 5.
What I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn. Now they call it child sexual abuse material on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview.
Okay, folks, Megyn's not stupid. Nobody said that they were under the age of 14. So Megyn is letting you know 14 is... Folks, I'm just going to ask a question here tonight. I'm going there. I'm going there because I'm going to open up the lines here in a few moments. And I just want to know something here. You hear... And in American society, we tend to just overdo everything. If somebody says something once, then people tend to be uncreative and unimaginative. And when they do come up with something, they just beat it into the ground. They really do. But there's a phrase that gets used, especially among the MAGA right-wing, alt-right folk. They love talking about that kind of thing. And you keep hearing this phrase over and over again. The Overton window, Overton window, Overton window. You keep hearing that. Wikipedia defines the Overton window as the range of subjects and arguments politically acceptable to the mainstream population at a given time. It is also known as the window of discourse. The key to the concept is that the window changes over time. It can shift or shrink or expand. So in other words, basically, think of it as the standards of decency. That the Overton window is referred to as basically a standard of decency. What is appropriate to talk about and discourse, not just in politics, but in society, to be totally honest. And so when you hear the Trump people talk about the Overton window has moved, or the Overton window has shifted, that's when they start talking about you can call people niggers. That's what they mean by that. Well, the Overton window is shifted. We can call people niggers now. The Overton window for them is not about anything redeeming in society. It's just about we can press full-blown white supremacy. So now it's acceptable to start leaning towards being Nazis. So and Klansmen. That's acceptable. But I submit to you all that precious Overton window that they keep talking about and invoking over and over again, it's about more than just politics. It's about more than just we can beat up on the niggas now. It's about more than that. I have to remind you again that it was this microphone that told you all over a decade ago that when white society, particularly white women, were cheering and defending the murder of Trayvon Martin, and I reminded them that just understand you have just signed the warrant for the white men to go after you. And I submit to you all here, what Megyn Kelly is doing, can we be honest? You want to talk about traditional values. Well, it appears to me that Megyn is championing the traditional values of Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley, Elvis Aaron Presley. I can go down the list a little bit longer if you'd like for me to, but I think that we found the era of the 1950s, that traditional American values that they keep talking about all the time but won't be specific about. I think we just found them. Pretty sure we just narrowed it down. Matter of fact, I think we nailed it. And I told you all they're going to send the women to do it. I told you that 6-7 years ago. By the way, when they start introducing these concepts, it will not be men that they send to do it. It'll be women that they send to do it. So this is how you end up with Ghislaine Maxwell and how Megyn Kelly said, this is how you end up here. This is how you get here. And what is Megyn doing, folks? I submit to you that Megyn Kelly, who would have told you how great it was to prosecute R. Kelly, no relation, or is there? That Megyn Kelly is now making the argument for what you need to do about this and what is acceptable. And I submit to you that she is now making the argument that the Overton window has shifted. And now what is acceptable for your girls, or should I say when they become women, Megyn Kelly is making the Viking defense. Megyn Kelly appears to me that in her desperate attempt to defend Trump is making the Viking defense. Now, people, I'm gonna say some things that are gonna make a number of you uncomfortable. I'm gonna go here. We're gonna do this tonight since Megyn Kelly has opened this window, if you will. Since Megyn Kelly has done this, I think it's incumbent on me to go ahead and follow this on through. But I thought you all would want to know here. You see, there's precedent for this. There's precedent. Remember, if you commit a crime, why, we have a little something that we call, if you're a minor and you commit a crime, well, if the crime is quote unquote serious enough, you can be charged as an adult. Well, you have it all through society that people keep defending that. People keep defending that. They keep defending that kind of thing. If you commit a serious enough crime, even if you're a minor, you can be tried as an adult. Well, do you see how that can be turned around and twisted? Do you see how that can get turned around and twisted on you there? You see how that can do that? Yeah, you're pushing for one thing, and then all of a sudden you find out actually you could be making an argument there for somewhere else, even though you didn't intend to it. So at that point, oh, there goes that Overton window again. There goes that Overton window again. Man. So all of a sudden, what is acceptable becomes something else. All of a sudden, what's acceptable becomes something else. That's what it becomes. I submit to you that there are some folks who are making some Viking justice arguments here, is what I'm saying. And that I don't think they're stupid or ignorant at all. I think that Megyn Kelly is preparing for being able to say that the girls were young, that they were old enough to know better. I think that's what they're getting ready to. I think that's the direction she's about to try to move this in. That they were old enough to know better. If you listen carefully there, that's what they're doing. That's what it seems like to me is being prepared there. That's what it seems like to me. You know where this goes. You know where this goes. So I think this is an important thing to have here. In the meantime, because y'all have to understand my slightly obese mod B1 speech tonight. She's tripping over herself there. Her mouse got stuck on the Krispy Kreme donut syrup. What? Cookie! Nom, 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 nom. Oh, nom, 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 nom. All right, so hate to interrupt my mods during feeding time there, so it's kind of hard for them to work their phones and, eat one of those Taco Bell crispy burritos. It's kind of hard for them to do that, so sometimes they kind of trip up there, but y'all see B1 speech, see if you can get her a gift card at Cheesecake Factory. Sometimes she's a little distracted. However, Gold Ambition in the chat room there. So glad that Gold Ambition has been asking for clarity. So glad that Gold Ambition is asking for clarity. So we're going to get Gold Ambition up here on Zoom. And Gold Ambition can get that clarity that they've been asking for there. We'll be very glad there. We certainly wouldn't want them to run into propaganda or anything. Very glad they do that. So if our rotund moderator for tonight's program can take a break from some of the other things there. I understand they're getting started early. Some of my people here are getting started early on Thanksgiving, so it's like, like getting a running head start. It's like getting a running head start, so it's kind of like that. If you ever want to get a running head start, it's like them getting a running head start on Thanksgiving. It's like, okay, let me give myself a week here, and by the time we get there, I'll be up to full speed. So, but we're gonna go ahead and get Gold Ambition up here. So that's the only one I want calling in right now. Everybody else just fall back for a minute. But Gold Ambition is gonna give us a call here. They got 2 minutes to go ahead and be on Zoom since they did ask that. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. And and I will be accepting gift cards for Cheesecake Factory, Longhorn Steakhouse, Golden Corral. I wouldn't want my mod to be in a hurry to have to leave, so I want them to get comfortable. I do want them to be comfortable when they sit down there. In any case, when you think about it here for a few moments, Megyn, to me, this sounds like she's preparing to make the argument of, well, they were old enough to know better. And I'm just going to say right here, well, since Megyn is the one who is apparently introducing this particular concept into it, since she's apparently introducing this, that's going to be an issue. I need Blueberry Muffin to give me a call up on Zoom, as a matter of fact, too. So let me go ahead and get them to give me a call up as well. I'll give you all a couple of minutes for that. So Gold Ambition and Blueberry Muffin, I need to get y'all up on Zoom here right quick. Whoever Lavelle is on Zoom, Lavelle, if you're not Gold Ambition or Blueberry Muffin, you need to hang up. I don't know what, if you're not either one of them, you're not supposed to be there. So I don't know what happens. So like I say, everybody tonight here might be having issues. I don't know. Let me see you, Lavelle. If you're not Gold Ambition, I don't know why you're on Zoom. I really, really just don't understand. So, Lavelle, are you Gold Ambition?
I'm Gold Ambition, man. They done put my whole government up here.
Okay, sir. Well, turn the light on for us so we make sure you're not trolling. Okay, Mr. Lavelle. So you needed some information or clarity on something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm I just came to the, show a little late. So I'm just trying to hear what Megyn Kelly, it's no lie. I'm just trying to hear what Megyn Kelly got to say. And if Megyn Kelly says what she says, then I'm all with it. I'm all for, not supporting what the fuck is going on with Trump, but I just want to hear what Megyn Kelly.
Okay, sir. Well, you said that you wanted to find out what the context was, and this was after the clip was played, and you don't want to go for propaganda. So I'm giving you an opportunity here to discuss here exactly what you thought was still not in context yet. After over 2 minutes of audio, what was still not in context?
Well, that's what I'm explaining to you. I came, a little late, and
you were commenting while it was going on.
Megyn Kelly.
I replayed it, sir. I replayed it.
Yeah, just
so
no.
I played it more than once, and you still said the same thing.
No, just replay it again, and then.
Yes, sir. I played it more than once, and you were still saying that even after I replayed it. You said it after I replayed it.
But what I'm telling you is I came to the show late. Like I just probably came like 5 minutes.
Sir, and I'm saying that you said that even after I replayed it. So that wasn't you late anymore. You said that after you got here. You can't be late and here at the same time. I mean, that's not the way that works temporally.
What did you replay? Because when I came, it was just you talking about.
Okay.
It was just a clip with a photo.
Okay, he doesn't want to stand behind it now. Okay. All right.
Yeah, just replay the clip and then we can reconvene with the conversation.
Here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do.
I'm on your side, bro. I'm gonna let you know right now.
I get that.
I like helping.
What I want you to do, I want you to just want you to listen for comprehension. That's what I want you to do.
It's a lot of
okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to just listen for comprehension. Okay? Just listen for comprehension. Just listen. Yeah, he watches the show. He watches the show. I get it. Okay, I just want you to listen for comprehension. That's what you need to do. Just do that instead.
That's fair. That's fair. Go ahead.
Just hang up, sir. Just go back and listen for comprehension. Just do that. It'll work. I promise. Or at least I'm hopeful it will. You can get off Zoom now, sir. You can go ahead and do that. You don't have to be there. All right. Where's my slow bus sound effect? I need that one. My Sesame Street. Remember I used to play Sesame Street? So it's on our way to where the air is sweet. All right. Where's Blueberry Muffin, by the way? I don't see you, ma'am. I need Blueberry Muffin here. So she doesn't have any problem calling in any other time here. Live from Seattle, so we need to see your face in the place, ma'am. And that was not a request. So front and center, she has no problem any other time. No problem any other time. So we are waiting. In any case here, folks, I'm just letting you all know that what I see here is, as Megyn Kelly is a lawyer, I mean, y'all thought Alan Dershowitz was the only thing, man. Don't you know these people got their tentacles everywhere? And then you get the call. You get the call, man. They give you the call. They call you up. And then they let you know, hey, you better get on out there. You don't have to do everything, but you need to introduce this into the societal membrane. You need to introduce this into the conversation. And so what ends up happening is now something that we weren't saying before, all of a sudden, it's something else now. So now we are discussing, no, we're not asking. Now she's saying, by the way, I mean, if they were 15, I mean, that's not as bad. That's not as bad. Not as bad as what, man? Not as bad as what? And so she's just coming out and letting you know. And I got to tell y'all, I'm looking for the other shoe to drop. I'm looking for the other shoe to drop. If you wonder if your society and your government has been co-opted by these people, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And the other shoe to drop is going to sound like some folks saying, by the way, just because you're 16 years old, that doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. And just like I reminded you all that even if you're 16 years old, you can be, quote, tried as an adult. Yeah, I'm starting to get the inkling that they're beginning to move this into position that, yeah, if those are the rules for violent crimes, then why can't that be the rule for sexual agency? I mean, that's already the rule for violent crime. The number is not 18 years old for violent crime. The number is somewhere around 16. So, yeah. So I want you all to understand that I'm not seeing this as some, momentary scandal. I'm like, oh, no. Because she said this more than once. She didn't just say this one time. She said this on more than one program. So that means something. That means something when I hear that. And that's why I'm letting you all know, it seems like they're preparing something. that it's time to get the society ready for the next thing. It's time to get them ready for something new, something that they weren't, everybody wasn't on board for before. So just understand, when they start talking about 50-year mortgages and 10-year car notes, oh, you thought that was bad? But you thought that was bad? Oh, here comes, by the way, yeah, we need to rediscuss what exactly is the age of consent, or, what exactly is that? I mean, it's not like they're 10 years old. It's not like that. Which, by the way, one more thing. Didn't Alan Dershowitz kind of hint in that direction? By the way, y'all, how many of you remember that Alan Dershowitz has already made some comments about this outside of Jeffrey Epstein about, what the age of consent should be? Didn't Alan Dershowitz, recently, within the past couple of years, didn't Alan Dershowitz cause a scandal because in the recent past he was saying something very, very similar? Yeah. Alan has made he's made the same kind of statement that, what's wrong with, bumping that number on down? What's wrong with that? Yeah. Alan Dershowitz, lawyer. Megyn Kelly, lawyer. And here they go. So, yeah, it kind of makes a little sense there, doesn't it? It's kind of like they're prepping you. They say it once and then people squeal. And then they come back and say it again. They squeal, but they don't squeal as loud. Then they come back the third or fourth time, and now people are debating it and discussing it. They're not squealing anymore. Remember, you didn't think that they would have grown men walking off in the bathrooms with your daughters. Remember? You didn't think that they were going to have grown men walking off into the public restrooms with your daughters. Now you do. Want to talk about the camel's head in the tent? You got grown men with the ability to walk off in the bathroom with your daughters. You think that age of consent can't move down from here? You don't think that's a small step to take at this point? Please understand something. If you can knock this next wall down, if you can knock that age of consent wall down, welcome to the United States of Epstein. Let me say that one more time. This is the final frontier. Right here. Apologies to all my Star Trek fans. But this is the final frontier right here. If you can knock down this age of consent, welcome to the United States of Epstein. Tell me, what will be the difference between America and Thailand, Bangkok, certain parts of Japan, certain parts of Africa? What will be the difference between Dallas and Darfur? At that point, what'll be the difference? If you can knock that age of consent down 2 or 3 more years, why would you need to travel passport bro to Thailand anymore? Why would you need to do that? I mean, wouldn't that give you all the conveniences here? Yeah, folks hadn't thought about it that way. All you got to do is knock down this age of consent thing, and at that point, Epstein Island becomes kind of passé, to be totally honest. I mean, why do you have to go through all that? I mean, unless you just want them in elementary school. I mean, if you just absolutely demand that they have to be elementary school age, well, all right, fine. But other than that, I mean, if you want yours just south of 18 years old, well, they're kind of laying out the blueprint now for how you can make that happen. If we can just tap that age of consent down a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. You hear what Megyn's doing. First she said 15, then it's 14. I mean, she's playing heavy with that 15, 14. She playing heavy with that 15, 14. I'm just saying to y'all, that's not accidental, dude. That's not accidental. Where are we going from here, man? Where are we going from here? What comes next? These are real questions we need to ask right now. Because I'm telling you, this was not accidental. Megyn Kelly didn't just talk about the age thing and get off of it. She's gone more than one place. Very clearly, she's been selected to introduce this message. She has obviously been chosen to introduce this message, to get it out there at her expense. What happens now? I'm not playing about it. I'm not joking. You thought voting for Trump, I mean, you thought that bait and switch for Project 2025 was bad. I'm like, dude, you saw that one coming. Did you see this one coming? How many of you would be surprised or shocked to hear Donald Trump sit in the White House and say, well, you know, I mean, if a girl's 14 years old, she knows what she's doing. How many of you would be shocked if you heard Donald Trump say, well, I mean, if she's 16 years old, she knows what she's doing. If she's 16 years old, she's aware of what she's doing. How many of you would actually be shocked? You'd be like, I can't believe he would say something like that. How many of you would be genuinely shocked and surprised if something like that happened? Can you imagine? I mean, I want to say something to you here so that you all are aware. Do you understand that the so-called sex tourism in Thailand is a billion-dollar industry? Not million, billion. Do you understand that? And it's not the only place. Can you imagine how much money America could make? Can you imagine how much money could be made in America if we loosened up these laws a little bit? Let me tell you where it starts. Oh, folks, I mean, I'm going to the seedy underbelly, man. I'm going to the seedy underbelly tonight because I want you to understand just how close your proximity to this thing really is. I want you to understand how close your proximity to it really is. Folks, if you can tap down that age of consent, how hard would it be for you to have your 16-year-old daughter on OnlyFans? She ain't got to hit no track nowhere. She doesn't have to go to the bunny ranch. She doesn't have to head out to Vegas. If you can tap down that age of consent just a little bit more, how hard would it be? How common would it be for the average 16-year-old girl to start popping in OnlyFans? I mean, you already have a situation. Remember what his name, Lil Tay, had a countdown to when she turned 18. She had a countdown to when she turned 18. And we're doing OnlyFans, remember? For those of you who didn't know. Oh yeah, one more thing. She's not the only one. She wasn't the only one. That's what's going on right now. Right now. They're having countdowns to when they're legal to turn 18. So there's 17 counting down when they're going to be legal to be 18 to open an OnlyFans account. And now I'm just letting you know, if Epstein Island has its way, you're worried about Thailand style sex tourism. I'm like, dude, that's the least of your worries. Because you see, you have a generation of girls now that have been exposed to the Nicki Minaj's and the Cardi B's and the Sukihanas and the Glorillas and the Miley Cyrus's and the Katy Perry's. So you see, the gloves are already off. If you're talking to 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds about abortion, if you are talking to 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds about their abortions, you are already knee-deep off in the strike zone of OnlyFans or whatever its successors will be. You're not on your way, you're already there. And I'm just telling you all, this is going to take a little more work, and then they can get that done. A little more work, and they can get that accomplished. And now I see it starting to move into place. See, right now you're righteously indignant because it is currently against the law for some 60-year-old man to sit up here and get a hold of your 16-year-old daughter. See, that's why you're indignant, because you know that the system and the courts will back you in your standard of whatever that is. Well, that's what you think now. What will you do when the courts tell you it's perfectly legal? What will you do when the courts give you the same answer about your 16-year-old that they give you about your 18-year-old? What will you do then? When the police officers and the bailiff and the judge are like, I mean, it's legal. What will you do then? I know what you feel right now in an environment where it is currently illegal. What will you do if you wake up one day and all of a sudden the courts are like, yeah, we don't take that seriously anymore? Then what? Because I'm just letting you know that's the way that goes. That's the way they go. Now I'm going to go a little bit further. Because you see, there are a whole bunch of folks right now who they're having to pretend that they're not okay with all this, when in reality they are. They're pretending they're not okay with it, but in reality they are some of the richest, most powerful people on the planet. The folks at the very tip top of the socioeconomic ladder. And this is their get down. This is their get down. How many of them are waiting for the day when they can actually go ahead and make this move? They just have to be quiet and keep their head low. They have to keep going off to all these far-flung places because, you see, they're very concerned about water, making sure people in the Middle East have water, and making sure that villages, remote villages in Africa have water and things like medicine. You know, these billionaires who They just want to go down to Nicaragua, make sure everybody has water and medicine. They just want to make sure you have that. That's all. They just want to make sure that's okay. Long as they can do that, that's all they're looking for there. Just making sure they got you. Now, most of you have never been in those places, but the richest people on the planet, every time you turn around, the richest people on the planet are hanging out in all these really rural third world countries, but they just came to bring water and medicine. Now, they're not interested in doing a damn thing for your medicine here. Oh yeah, one more thing. You got plenty of Americans on American soil who work for companies like Microsoft. Damn, did I just say it? Plenty of Americans, by the way. And these same multi-billionaires, well, they don't give a damn what's happening with the medication, the medicine, or the drinking water quality for their employees and their neighbors right here in America. Well, they don't care about that. Matter of fact, they lobby Congress to make sure they don't do anything for you. But they are intensely concerned, quote unquote, about the medicinal, nutritional, and water needs of people in the third world. And yet they give no damn about what happens to you, your water needs, medicine needs right here. They're concerned about it, just not for you. What did I miss? Very clearly, I'm missing something in here. What did I miss? It's not accidental. It's not accidental, people. So my job as your anchor man of the New Black Media is to alert you when I see these things. It is to alert you when I see these things. And I'm just letting you know where Megyn Kelly is concerned. I take that very seriously. I do not think it was a faux pas. I don't think it was a slip of the tongue. If it was a slip of the tongue, she slipped on her tongue 2 or 3 times now in 2 or 3 different places to make the exact same argument. Well, it's not like the girls were 14 or 15. And there's a difference between 15 and 5. She's been to a couple of places now and making this argument. Now, she's going viral. She's going viral. People are talking about it all over the place. I told y'all she's going to start explaining soon. It's not lost on me that she did this on her way into the weekend. By the way, one more thing. It is also not lost on me that she does this on her way into the weekend. She didn't do this at the beginning of the week. She didn't do it really in the middle of the week. She's doing it on her way to the weekend. So she drops that bomb out there and then, okay, we're down for the weekend. We'll see next week if she says anything. I mean, it's not like folk haven't been talking about it. We'll see next week. See, let me explain to you about that Overton window for just a few moments here. Remember, Megyn Kelly was the one for Rich Haitian Niggers Lowry, remember? Oh, Megyn Kelly has stood strong around a bunch of blatant, flagrant stuff. Remember, Megyn Kelly was Mr. Rich Haitian Niggers Lowry, remember? Yeah, I was one of the people who had to beat that drum when it happened. Haitian Niggers Lowry. Megyn stood strong on that one. And I predict she's going to do the same thing here. Because that is her purpose. See, here's the issue. You can't cancel people if the wealthy are going to stand behind them. You can only cancel somebody if you're able to pull their economics away from them. If you're able to withdraw their economics now, you can cancel them. If you can deprive them economically and shut them out economically, you can cancel them. But you see, if you are unable to shut off their money supply, you can't cancel them at all. You have no way to punish them. If they got enough money behind them and the money keeps flowing no matter what they say, you have have just lost your leverage and your ability to cancel them. You have no leverage, no mechanism to punish them. You don't have it. All this begs the question, what do they got on her? What do y'all think they got on her? I don't know. What they got on Megyn, they got something on everybody else. They have stuff on everybody else. Now it's starting to look like they got something on her too. She's starting to act suspiciously like, by the way, they got you too. I wonder what it is. I wonder what they got. Wonder what it is and what they got and what they're going to have her do next. And she's not the last one, people. I told you all more were coming. She's not the last one. You ever get the feeling that they're starting to wake up their sleeper agents one by one? They're opening their sleeper agents one by one. They're activating them. It's time to get out there. No, you don't have to do an hour-long monologue. You just need to say this, and that's all. Get on out there. Do they have something on her? Do they have something on her husband? What do they got, man? What do they got that would lead to something like this? They got something on everybody else. What do they got, man? See, even if they can't get to you, they can get to your people. What do they got? The more that the American people keep hammering at this thing, the more ominous it looks. The more ominous it looks. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the link to the Zoom is now open. We're going to go ahead and let you all give us a call here tonight, and you can let me know, people. I did a program months ago, I think last year, called The United States of Epstein. And you can take a look at how far this is going, man. I did the program either earlier this year or last year, but The United States of Epstein. And you have a Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who refuses to swear in a democratically duly elected representative because she says that she's going to vote to release the Epstein files. And Mike Johnson, a sitting current Speaker of the House of Representatives, deliberately refuses to swear her in so that they cannot take that vote. A fellow from Louisiana, not some California, New York bastion of perverts and molesters, Louisiana. And yet there he is. At that point right there, man, you can't rule anybody out. They got their hooks everywhere. You can't rule anyone out. Not now, you can't. But you might disagree with that. So, in the event that you do, you have the opportunity to go ahead and give us a call. And we can go ahead and speak on that with you here. In the meantime, I'd like to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Nancy King. Thank you very much for your support tonight, Nancy. We appreciate that. Shout out here to my man, Mr. Richburg, to Mr. Pressure, Mark B., and everyone else here who's contributed toward the program. We appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief non-commercial break here. When we come back, if you want to weigh in on this, We'll go ahead and pin up the Zoom link in the chat room for you here, and you can definitely give us a call. This is the Black Channel.
True masculinity isn't about power, it's about presence. Confidence that's natural, grounded, and real. Begin your ritual with Honey Beauty's Main Magic Beard Wash and Conditioner, infused with the goodness of mangoes and organic botanicals to cleanse deeply, soften, and revive your beard. Follow with Honey Beauty's Main Magic Beard Oil, a powerful blend of natural oils that nourish, strengthen, and add a smooth, confident shine. Complete the look with Honey Beauty's Main Magic Beard and Body Butter. Pure organic hydration that keeps your skin and beard soft, healthy, and refined.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Just to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we repping the games. Listen, be the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And, yeah, man, you know, we're talking here tonight about the Megyn Kelly when she made these comments. I want to go ahead and let you all hear this one more time. Fair use, Megyn, fair use.
I do think there are some who are so well connected or did such a good job of hiding their tracks that they'll never be facing real charges. As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were.
And do you see her sock puppet friend over there? Just nodding her head, agreeing with every word. Man, if you all underestimate the number of people who are willing to go in on this. And no, it's not lost on me, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, this Bayat woman here, Batia woman here. Like I say, I mean, it's Israeli connections, Mossad, I don't know. It's not lost on me, but then again, it don't matter. They got the global connect, man. They got the global connect, and everybody's in on it, dude. Wait till you see Tucker Carlson defend this, by the way. There's the real thing. Wait till y'all see Tucker Carlson defend Megyn. Keep your eyes open for that. Wait till you see Tucker Carlson defend this. When you see that, there's the other shoe dropping for you.
But would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn. Now they call it child sexual abuse material on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, it's just.
I think you need to explain that, Megyn. She says, I think there is a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Okay, well, Megyn, by all means, clarify. By all means, clarify. People, this is a woman, and I use that word advisedly. This is a woman who has defended the murder of black children. She's defended the murder of black kids. Proudly, defiantly, shamelessly. So how can I possibly be shocked or mortified? Because I am mortified. But how could a person be shocked to hear this? And I'm just letting you know, they got this little clique of sticking together now. What's going to happen? Don't be surprised if Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson end up running to her defense. And if that happens, a lot of y'all who've been using them as your mascots because you've been kind of really gullible and easily led, what do you do then? What will you do then? You're going to get on the pass and disregard it? Okay. We're going to go ahead and jump over here on Zoom, everybody. We're going to go ahead and jump over here on Zoom right quick here. All right, let's see if we can get Agnes up here on Zoom. Yes, I saw you. Come on over here, Agnes. Agnes is being shy tonight. Hit the button for her now. She doesn't want to come out and play. Okay, we'll be waiting on you, ma'am. Let's go ahead and get back here and get Superpower Media up here right quick. All right, Superpower Media, what's on your mind?
Jason, this is totally insane what we're hearing. And I want to say this. Both the 5-year-old and the 14-year-old are the same. They both are victims of this filth. So how can she justify saying that both would, if it's a 15-year-old or if it's a 5-year-old, 13, 10, they're all victims. You can't justify any of it. These people are always on demon time, man. And when they always talking about I'm a Christian and evangelical, that just means that there is more demon time coming, whether it be black white supremacy on black people or raping your children or coming after. Everything is a demon time with these people, man. We got to stay prayed up, man, as foundational Black Americans, man, because when they do start passing laws, and I agree with you on that, it's gonna get ugly. And if you kill somebody, a grown man for going after your young daughter, they're gonna lock you up.
Well, brother, I mean, I agree with you, but I have to do my job. And part of my job is bringing these things into their proper perspective. Brother, 50, 70 years ago, it was the norm. There was nothing weird, odd. It was the norm for kids to drop out of school. go to work, get a job before they were 18. Start a family. Right. If you got the gal pregnant, you were expected to drop out of school and go get you a job and start taking care of you and this kid, brother. This isn't 200 years ago. This is only 50, 60, 70 years ago. And that was very much the norm. I'm from Louisiana. There was nothing peculiar about that. And a lot of y'all from other states. I mean, there was nothing extraordinary about that. That was very much the norm. So what I'm saying is that while this might seem like a radically different concept today, in the not so distant future, there was nothing radical about it. So actually, there's less distance between us and that age now than you all might actually think. Now, in the chat room, Jamie is saying, yeah, that's 2 teenagers, though. Okay, but you missed what I said before. That's 2 teenagers. Was it 2 teenagers when it was Jerry Lee Lewis and his cousin?
What? Oh, wow. Wow.
Was that 2 teenagers then? Was it 2 teenagers when it was Elvis, Aaron Presley, and Lisa Marie? Lisa was the name. Priscilla Presley? No, not Lisa Marie. Apologies to Lisa Marie. But anyway, was that 2 teenagers then? 2? We can go down the list. I'm not going to bring in the folks who had, criminal stuff come as a result of that. I'm talking about the ones who were able to do it and there were no criminal situations about it. Okay? What about with them? So, it was accepted. Yeah, no, it was accepted. The teenagers were accepted, but the grown men too? No, actually, no. That was, no, that was accepted too. Yeah, sure was. But we don't even talk about the interracial dating, by the way. Y'all don't want me to go there, brother. If a white man wanted your black daughter, okay. Okay, wow. I'm not supposed to let y'all know about that. I'm not supposed to talk about that. Okay. All right. I won't talk about it. But yeah, I'm not making this up. So I'm bringing this up, brother, because I want you all to be aware. If you have females in the media who they're the ones carrying the argument that if this little hussy is 16 years old and she want to get down, then who are you all to tell her what she can do with her body? How long have they been making that argument? Now, let me move this over a little bit. Is there anybody here who doubts that Cardi B would be first on deck to defend it? Is there anybody who doubts she would? Anybody doubts Nicki Minaj would? Or whoever in the hell they want to go recruit next. Is there anybody who doubts that they would? I'm just saying, do you see how quickly we could end up in that position? The players are already in position. They're already there. They just haven't said it yet. But by the way, yeah, if they want to make that move, the operatives who will be apologists for it are already there. They're already there. Yeah. No, they won't start from the male side of it because you'll claim victimization if you start there. So you can't do that. You have to make it a female empowerment issue. You can't make it the males want this issue. It has to be a female empowerment issue, which is how they brought in and normalized all these deviancies. Playboy magazine, whatever. It's always a female quote empowerment. Yeah, she's empowered to do some hoe stuff. So I'm just letting y'all know, man. Right now, yeah, that argument and that justification is not nearly as far away as you might think. It's not nearly as far away as you might think. It's a lot closer at hand than you might believe. And I'm just saying, is this where we at? Are we here? Are we now at the point of discussing what your 16-year-old can do? Is this where we at in America today? I'm listening to Megyn Kelly, and it sounds like she thinks we are. And I don't know if folks really want to know the ramifications of that. I think you'll find that there will not be as many people fighting over it as you might think. I'm just saying that cousin or whatever at your damn Thanksgiving party that everybody got to watch out for.
Wow.
Okay. All right. I'll let you have the last word, brother.
And also, she was defending Epstein. I mean, this is Kelly. I mean, she's saying, "Oh, I don't know if he was really going into doing that. I don't." Man, this woman is sick, man. And the lady that's on with her, she didn't even say anything. So they, like you said,
she was agreeing. She was agreeing. No, she did say some things. Bayat did say something. Batia did say some things. She was agreeing. She was nodding her head agreeing.
Yeah, they paid off.
But she was nodding her head agreeing and saying that she agreed there was that there was a difference between being 15 and 5. So I'm like, okay. Wow. All I'm telling y'all is okay. I'm not even fighting them about it. I'm just saying, okay, this is where we at.
I can tell people lock their doors, man. Lock the doors, keep shotgun behind the door, man. I said at this point, because it's going to get ugly. B1, Jason.
B1, brother. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. For all my parents out there, is this where we at? You know how hard it is to keep your kids in line today. If the system sits up here and tells you can't spank them, and then they tell them, well, you can't stop your 16-year-old from opening OnlyFans. You can't stop your 16-year-old from opening OnlyFans. She has age of majority. You can't stop that. Now what are you going to do? Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Oh, where is Agnes? Ah, there you are. Agnes, go ahead and unmute yourself. You're killing the program, Agnes.
I'm not killing anything. You summoned me. So I want to hear what it is.
There you are, Agnes. Thank you for giving us a call up here, ma'am. Drop the attitude. You posted something in the chat room. I had you call up for a reason.
Yes. And I posted something about what the mod did. Okay.
Do you understand that the mods, even though sometimes I have to take her away from the drive-thru at Bojangles to come back and mod, you do understand that they're not making that up as they go along and freestyling. They're actually doing what I told them to.
Okay, but the question was on what did the mod take offense at what I was doing?
You posted up several people tagging them. We've had talks about this before.
I was just saying greetings to the people.
That's my rule, Agnes.
Understood.
Okay, now you understand it. So that's why she said that. Do you still have a problem with it?
I didn't know there was one until you said so.
Last time. Do you still got a problem with it now that I've told you?
No.
That she was doing what I instructed her to do?
Okay.
All right, good. Take the night off, Agnes. Folks, if my mods tell you something, that's not them talking. That's me talking. My mods do not invent rules. Sometimes I gotta kick them in the ass to get them to enforce my rules. But if my mods say something, excuse me, ma'am, that's not my mod talking to you. That's me talking to you. So if you got a problem with it, I'm gonna tell you call up and you can speak to me directly, and then we can see if you still got a problem with it. But, oh yeah, you don't chew them out over something that I gave them a rule, because that's not you chewing my mod out. That's you chewing me out. So I'm just like, okay, in that case here, we just need to go ahead and parlay for a minute so we can get that straightened out for you. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom. Let me get my man Blanco up here on Zoom right quick. Let me go ahead and get Zont Blanco up here on Zoom right quick. Y'all, it's what my man say. It's Hide your daughters, hide your wife. They raping everybody out here. All right, Blanco, what's on your mind, brother?
Jason, what a broadcast. Like, what I find interesting, though, is that the entire time that they're having that conversation with Megyn Kelly, she's talking about, and not just her, it's all the politicians and everyone else. They always mention young girls within 13, 17, as if it's only just girls that are at this island. Boys are at there too. And it's way young, it's 10 and younger. And if they admit that, then we, like the other caller just said, grab your shotguns. It's time to get your, pitchforks and your torches, burn down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I think it would be a bigger offense if it was boys. If that was more highlighted, I think that would be more shocking and offensive to people. Now, I think with the girls, they think that would actually make the medicine go down smoother.
Yes.
If they told you they were out there raping a bunch of boys, 10 years old, I think people would find that to be just okay. I think that'd be a whole lot more just of a shock to the system. I don't think you can explain that one away. Jerry Sandusky showed that one. You can't really explain your way through that one. That one's not going to work. So now they're like with the girls, okay, let's ease that down from 18 to 16. And with the girls, let's ease it on down. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's where we're going with it.
Well, because, soldiers will come back from the Afghanistan, whatever, and they'll talk about the boy nights that, they don't do anything, but they have to just kind of keep watch because that's our CIA, that's our intelligence guy.
Man, you don't want to do this.
So other countries are doing it, but we're not doing it.
Blanco, Blanco, you don't want to do this, Blanco. You don't want to open that can of worms, dude. What you just said right there, you don't want to do that. We don't want to talk about these so-called Muslim countries, man. We don't want to talk about these so-called Muslim countries where that's the get down. Afghanistan, everybody mentions that one there because, quote unquote, they don't have a government, at least up until recently. Now they do. But man, look here, Morocco, Dubai. Some of these so-called, y'all think rich Arab countries, and with the boys and everybody talks about the men with the girls, the grown men with the, young girls over there, 9 and 10 years old. And of course, quoting from the Bible, from the Quran, because Aisha, you want to get into an argument with Muslims, tell them, by the way, can you explain that Aisha story to me one time? Just explain that one to me just one time. You want to get them upset with you. But I mean, just quiet as kept, dude. Folks don't understand about what you're talking about. So you said Afghanistan. I'm like, oh, he's being nice to you with Afghanistan. You all don't really want us to run down the list of Muslim countries where this is the get down. This is the get down, man. So when you start thinking of it in those terms, bro, you're surrounded on more sides than you think you are. Way more. In the chat room, a lot of folks here are surprised. And y'all don't understand. There's a bunch of Muslim countries where this is not extraordinary, man. This is just not the part they put on Facebook and Instagram and promote to you all. But, oh, no, it goes down with the little kids. It goes down.
Again, it's like you said. It's like it's not just, them. All child rape is wrong. I don't know why we're even having this conversation globally, whatever, right? You were just talking about Thailand with their entire $1 billion industry. So the list goes down. So then, wait, so we're not doing it? Oh, no, we actually are. But like you said, they got to give you the medicine a little slowly by saying, well, your 16-year-old daughter, how would you feel? They got to do that because they're really not going to tell you that they've been grooming children since the age of whatever. So, you're nailing it.
I want folks to understand and realize this is much wider spread than you tell yourselves. Since this is not something, at least I hope y'all ain't, but this is not something that we really engage in. So this is not a conversation that we have on a regular basis. But the truth of the matter is, to anybody in who's been in the military, if they've been in the Middle East, they've seen it. If they've been to Southern Asia, they've seen it. If they've been in the Middle East, they've seen it. They've seen it. You know what the hell's going on over there, man. It's just like, okay, you can't really say nothing because you're not supposed to mess with the locals. If that's what they're doing, you got to just play past that. If that's the law over there and it's what they can do but that's going to affect you, man. So a bunch of military dudes, yes, they have seen it, they've experienced it, they witnessed it. They thought it was something that they heard on a rap album and got over there and found out it's a whole different thing when they talk about it. And now there's a whole bunch of them, and it's very well funded. It's a bunch of cats over there with their money up, and that's what they're doing with it. That's what they're doing with it. So we're under more siege than you think you are. There's going to be a whole lot more folk agreeable to it than I think people would want. So if you're going to make a stand over it, you got to make it here. But yes, you're absolutely right. That's a can of worms folks don't want to open up. They don't really want to go down that wormhole, because you're going to find all kinds of stuff you made assumptions about and it's just wrong. I'll let you have the last word.
Real quick, just, the Me Too movement and, Diddy, they were all really about the little kids that they're casting couch, or they're couching. Grown adults, rape is rape, again. But grown adults making decisions and getting abused and whatnot, that took the main conversation of this whole thing. It's these little kids, Justin Bieber, again. It's just over and over. The real story keeps on getting, dropped and covered and taking down the medicine easily. It's done on purpose because they really don't want you to know what's going on. Excellent broadcast.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, y'all. This is a conversation we usually don't have. I got folks lined up over here on the Zoom. So everybody who's on Zoom here, Christian, Huey D, all of y'all, just hang tight here. We're going to try to get as many of y'all on here as we can. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Kansas Creole up here on Zoom for me right quick. Let me get Kansas Creole up here on Zoom. Okay, Kansas, what's on your mind? Unmute yourself, ma'am. Unmute yourself, ma'am. No, this newfangled technology has her confounded. Baby, you ain't did it. There you go. All right, what's on your mind?
All right, so I just wanted to say that, of course, thank you for all that you do. I was wondering why more people were not talking about what she said this week, especially with her being someone that people listen to.
No, it's all over the place, man. No, it's all over the place. When she said that, the first day was only the slow one. I was one of the first people to post about it, but no, at this point right now, it's all over YouTube and everything. So yeah, there's a lot happening. Don't get me wrong. Because folks been talking about Tucker Carlson and all that stuff there, but no, it's out there now. The real question is if she's going to respond to it or say anything, but it's out there now, man.
Right. And then it kind of puts you in the mind of people are probably chuckling about her or think can they believe that she said that? But what you said about the whole Overton thing, that's really serious.
No, for a lot of folks there, it'll be the lane might be open now.
Right. And out in California, how they just recently, done the whole within 10 or 11 years of the age of a young person. So if someone's 11 and you're 22, then you can mess around with that kid without having to be registered as a sex offender. And I was having this conversation with some family members that do live in California, because when it happened, when that Senate bill was coming across, they didn't know. And so I had spoke to them about it, and I was letting them know about these things are going to make a difference, whether a football coach is with a 13-year-old boy, but he's 25, or like I said, I'm thinking that it's 10 years, but it might be stretched a little bit further. But basically, it's allowing people to be able to have contact with minors and not be registered. And I was,
we've been having issues for a while with they're called Romeo and Juliet statutes.
I was about to go there.
We've been having issues. There's been issues for a while about that. It was actually Michael Bay that really put that on the map recently with that Transformers movie, that he was determined to make that part of the storyline. It's Michael, what are you doing? But yeah, when you have these people have been trying to finagle with the Romeo and Juliet statutes, anything and everything to start easing those numbers and easing that gap into place. Yeah, that's right. They're very much still working on that. While you busy and making cornbread in the NFL offseason, this is what the deviants who getting in the office are doing.
Right. And so I also started, like, we was having the conversation because, like, I told them, how can they be so hypocritical? You have someone like Diddy. I'm not excusing anything that happened. At the end of the day, they were all adults. So that's where I want people to understand, like, I don't think that it's okay for anyone to advocate for it, but it's really important for women to understand that we can't be for stuff like this because, when you have sons, when you have brothers, when you have cousins, when you have different people in your family that can be a victim of this system, like you said, the whole Romeo and Juliet thing, even back then, they weren't even using women when they had those plays. They were using boys. That. Everyone knows that.
Very
like,
good point.
if you go all the way back, people want to talk about the Pakistan, like, I'm not going to just name other countries, but those people using boys and doing things that they shouldn't do with young people, that
they want to reintroduce that in our time. They want to reintroduce that in our time, and it's like the saying goes, everything that's happened before, all of this has happened before and will happen again. So they're trying to figure out, how do we reintroduce this into the psyche of this era? You make a very good point about, for Diddy, they don't give it. They have no problem with you focusing on that. They have no problem making that a spectacle because they're not interested in consenting adults. They're not interested in the consenting female. They're interested in the consenting minor, or actually unconsenting. It doesn't matter whether the minor is consenting or not. They want minors. So you go ahead and go focus on these consenting adults, and don't worry about what we're over here doing with the children. Don't worry about that at all.
And a lot of people don't look at the fact that, people know that people that do things towards minors get like sentences, or they get protected. They get in, protective custody, PC, whatever you want to call it. They get different sentences, and we all know that. And I just think that it's important for people to understand that this isn't okay. This isn't okay. And that this is something that they've done. Having access to people that are younger has always been elite, or you.
I mean, a lot of these people with these aristocratic airs, they think of themselves as, reborn Caesars, which, by the way, in case you all did not know, Julius Caesar was another one who had a group of concubines as well as young boys. So whether it's the Spartans, this is all very Greek and very, very European. Some of these things we've seen, very European, making a comeback here. And yeah, they already know it. They've already seen it through history. So they got a template for it. Thank you, everyone, for giving us a call tonight. Let me see if we can get Christian up here on Zoom for me. Let me go ahead and get Christian up here, folks. I mean, if we go back digging through the crates, please understand that this is not novel. This is not novel at all. George Washington on the plantations and stuff, they don't want you talking about the real history because, boy, if you really start talking about what really happened. All right, Christian, what's on your mind? Okay, you need to check your microphone or something, dude. We can't hear you. Take out that headphone. Take out the headphones, folks. Some of y'all's phones, y'all can't figure out how to get it to work with your headphones plugged up. So go ahead and just take the headphones off and just see if you can use the speaker on the phone instead. Okay, he's still working on it here. That's not working for you. You're doing something. Speak, sir. Okay, something weird going on there. I'm going to give you a few moments back in the waiting room to see if you can figure that out. He waited all this damn time and he ain't ready. Okay, let's see if we can get Jay up here on Zoom for me. All right, Jay, what's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, sir, you're on.
Hello?
Yes, Jay, you are on.
Oh, how you doing, man? My name is Julian, man, from Humble by the way of Houston. I just wanted to say that you were right, man. When I worked in Afghanistan, deployed in Afghanistan 2003, and then down to worked in Afghanistan 2010 to 13. there was a lot of homosexuality amongst the Afghans with little boys. It was very common, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So I'm just letting you, just to say that you was right.
Yeah, like I say, it's in the military and stuff. For those of y'all who got around, this is the part of the story that doesn't get told. Nobody really talks about this part of it, and I can understand it, but folks need to know what the environment over there is really like. There's a lot of that goes on. So that's what I'm saying. You're in an environment that's a lot more welcoming to that than people suspect it is.
Right. So, and then to add on to it, my aunt in Louisiana, she was born in Winfield. She was married at 15 to her 27-year-old husband, had 8 kids from him.
Yeah.
You know, so none of this stuff is really new. We just caught up into modern day time thinking that it's a far-fetched thing, but it's really, really not.
To people in power and stuff like that, man, the only thing they want, you all have heard it long said that men with power only want one thing, more power. But they never told you what the powers were. What you always assume the power that they want is money, being able to buy things. What if the power they want is to be able to snatch your daughter up? He's driving by, your daughter's on the swing and looks cute. He can just hop out the limousine, grab her, yank her in, and off he goes. What if he wants that kind of power? What if that's his definition of power? And nobody prepared you or explained to you that, by the way, yeah, that's part of the more power he was talking about.
Right. So, like I was saying, I mean, I'm going to land my plane, but thank you for having me on. But I'm just confirming everything that you are saying is just right, you know. And they're trying to change the laws right before our eyes, and that's what us as Black folks need to wake up and see, you know, because I was trained in the 90s, hey, get your degree, be just like the white guy, be clean cut and everything like that. Because I attended Grambling State, that's what pushed in our heads, you know. And now, you know, it took me a while to wake up to Blackness that, hey, we've been fooled for years, you know. I mean, what's the worth of getting all these student loans and being close to whiteness, and you hit a glass ceiling every time, you know? So be one, much love, man. Talk to you later.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, y'all. I mean, that's what happens. Let me go ahead and see if we can try Christian one more time here. Let's see if he's got himself straightened out. If he does, good. If he doesn't, Christian, you missed the boat. All right, where you at, Christian? Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, I see you. Let's see if we can hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you now. He got himself straightened out. Okay, what's on your mind, Christian?
Yeah, it's just funny you mentioned that because, you know, I did security. There was this place that I did was halfway between Phoenix and Las Vegas, middle of nowhere, $8,000 a night hotel just for like billionaires. I go up to the guardhouse. They tell me I have to go another mile to hit the main clubhouse. Then I gotta go another mile to hit the rooms. And then when you talk, I just thought, oh, they're doing Epstein stuff here. They don't want people to know where they're at. They want to be in the secluded area, and they want to make it so expensive that people can't go there. And each one of the villas were like half a mile away from each other, so you could see one villa from another one, but you're not close enough to actually see what they're doing over there. So it was real weird as to like, why would you even want to spend this type of money to not be in the city? But then like, as I got, you know, a little bit older, I kind of understood, okay, they're doing some funny stuff here.
It kind of calls into question what some of your Instagram models who get flued out to these places kind of calls into question some of the stuff they've been doing over there. We make all kinds of assumptions. Well, she's doing that stuff there, but surely she wouldn't have been doing, well, this over here. If old boy throw another $100,000 on it, if this dude drops another $100,000 on it, are you sure she didn't? You sure about that? Y'all, we don't really want to start digging into this, because then we start seeing chicks come back over here And we're shocked that they're dating ball players who are 19 and 20 years old. And do we really want to do this, brother? Okay, we're not going to have this conversation tonight. We ain't going to do this. We're not going to go here, y'all. We're going to leave it alone. Because this will become a rabbit hole right here just that quick. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, man, but it was surreal, and what Jason's talking about is definitely true, because like the amount of money they invest to have these little, like, it was almost like an island in the desert. That's what it reminded me of, just like an island. Like, they're putting heavy money into this. They're definitely committed to it, and I've seen with my own eyes the weird stuff that they spent money to produce in order to live this lifestyle.
And it means nothing to them. I mean, you're talking about folk with hundreds of millions of dollars. What the hell is $10,000, $100,000 to somebody like that? That's pocket change, man. That's parking meter money. We're talking about folk here. Remember, their families. Sometimes they got to sit up here and go jail people, or sometimes kill them, because he's been stealing hundreds of millions of dollars for years. Nobody knew. They got so much money he could go off and go steal millions, and nobody even knew it was. Everybody saw him doing it, and nobody knew it was happening. It's just. They just got so much they couldn't. How am I going to find that extra 10 million? We sitting on billions. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And now they just got the infrastructure for it. Because that's what you're describing as infrastructure. So it's like, yeah, we done set the whole thing up, and it's like, wow, this is curiously laid out with all these villas spaced way apart from each other. It's like, what's the utility of that? What you're saying, because anybody who works in hospitality, that's very hard to maintain. Having these things spaced out like that, how is this efficient? It's not put there for efficiency. It's not put there for efficiency. There's no hotelier in the world that would do it like that. Y'all are doing something different. That you're like, yeah, damn efficiency. Efficiency would get in the way. And by the way, one more thing. If there's half a mile between you, I'm not even going to give you a whole mile, half a mile. Remember, in the desert, no one can hear you scream.
Yep.
Man, yep. We don't want to go here with it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Just remember that, y'all. In the desert, no one can hear you scream. No one can hear you scream out there. That's it. We can do you how we going to do you. We can do with you what we want to do with you, and it's going down. We own the police. We own the courts. You are not protected by the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. You in a whole different place. Oh, we do it totally different over here. Who you think you complaining to? You talking about rights? Fall back. All right, let me see if we can get back to back up here on Zoom for me right quick here. Let me see if I can get back to back up here. Where's back to back at here? Okay, I don't see anything back to back. If you are there, flip a light on or something for me here. I don't see anything. There you go. All right, back to back. What's on your mind?
Oh, yeah, I heard you earlier talking about the Islam thing. I can give an explanation if it's a misconception.
Oh, well, I can give you 30 seconds to give me the Reader's Digest version of it, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. In the desert, people were lazy back then. One, as a woman, you didn't get your age counted until you hit puberty. Also, when they was talking about your age, they didn't put the teen part. So, bare minimum, if they said 6, more than likely it was at least 16. And also, there's an argument on whether or not she was even 16 years old. They're talking about she might have been actually a bit older.
I'm not sure who the they is you're referring to.
Muslims, the scholars.
Okay, sir. Yes, Muslims and scholars. That's never been a debate.
You said it's never been a debate?
Sir, first of all, that's never been a debate. But that's never been a debate. What you trying to rewrite right now, that's never been a debate. That's why you can't name who they are. Muslim scholars, name 2 of them. Name 2 of them that's the argument they're making.
I mean, I'm not well versed in Muslim scholars.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, because it's not there. And by the way, I don't even have to go that far with it. By the way, y'all see how quickly that got shut down? But I'll go even further. Dude, they're still doing it today. They're still doing, slow down. They're still doing it today. Forget the 12th century. They're still doing it in 2025. They're doing it today. So what are you talking about? That's not a misconception.
The culture and not the religion.
The culture is led by the religion, sir. It's the religious clerics who are endorsing it. What are you talking about?
So you're telling me that the religion tells you that you can sniff coke and stuff? That's what the religion is telling you to do? Because you can do that there too.
Okay,
That's
sir. If they're doing that in front of the imams, then what is it?
What you call it? There's a scripture of what can be done and what cannot be done.
Okay, well, apparently the scripture doesn't have any problem with them with 10-year-old and 12-year-old girls in 2025.
Well, I'm saying that if people that are researched or that some scholars.
Okay, sir, they are the ones referencing the Quran when they say that. They're the ones referencing that.
So you understand that scholars have multiple views.
Okay, we've already covered that you don't. These non-existent scholars you're referring to, we've already covered they don't exist. I didn't say that. You did.
Excuse me, I can't get a name tonight. So are you saying that if I could bring you some names, you'd back down from this?
You can bring me some names. We can go ahead and go into what they say there, sir, but we can go around all night about that there. The bottom line is the book says...
No, I can't do it tonight.
The bottom line is...
Come back and
sir, I mean, no, because I'm not going to talk about this again after tonight because I just want to prove this point right here is that, yeah, that's not a real thing. You guys are trying to clean it up and that's not really a real thing. And you know that. I mean, we're talking about the alphanumeric system we have here in the States. Where the hell did that come from? And now you're trying to tell me they couldn't count? Now you're going to tell me they didn't count ages the way we do now? What are you talking about? We got it from them. The 365 days of the year? What are you talking about? You're acting like that was a recent European invention. That's ancient.
Actually, Muslims go by a lunar calendar. We don't go by a Gregorian calendar.
Okay, where are your people from?
I'm from New York. My people are from America.
Let's try this one more.
I'm FBA. I might qualify for Indian citizenship and all that stuff.
Dude,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
brother, no disrespect because nobody else sees you except me right now. Your hair looks like you combed it with a salad fork. Where are your people from?
Dude,
where are your people from?
Out of bed.
Okay, brother, no. It looks like you just rolled from up on the freeway overpass. Where are your people from?
I'm from here, my guy.
Okay, brother, your hair looks like you from Rwanda. Where are your people from?
I just rolled out of bed, my guy.
Dude, this is what y'all do. Y'all always lie about where your folks from. We just ask a basic question. Where are your people from? And then y'all start lying and talking about it. From New York. Which borough from New York y'all from?
Harlem, to be exact.
Okay, you've already snitched on yourself. We from New York. Ain't none of y'all from New York. Where's your grandmother from?
Oh, she's from here, New York.
Your grandmother is, quote, from New York. Your grandmother is, quote, from New York.
Yeah, and my grandmother on my dad's side is from Kansas.
He can't tell us from where in New York she is.
I said we're from Harlem. Okay, now you want to know what borough she's from?
Sir, you don't have no three generations of black folk from Harlem. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have no 3 generations of black folk from Harlem. No, you don't. He's just sitting there looking up at the ceiling now. I'm like, yeah, no, dude, you've already just, no. Now we just making things up. He just freestyling. Now he's trying to make it up as he goes along and just freestyling. Grandmama from Harlem. 3 generations, just been sitting there in Harlem. That's not even what's happening. Dad's from Kansas. Okay. Man, if y'all don't quit. And I'm just saying on this phone up here, y'all, he looked like ODB. You know, it's just, and I'm like, no, dude, he's got no, your people are not from the States. I'm not going to turn the camera on so folk can see you, but everybody here just no. N-O, no. His folk ain't from here. Not at all. No. He got this scruffy beard, no, they're not from here. Ever. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Carrie Big Speak Soft up here. Let me see if we can get Carrie Big Speak Soft up here. All right, Carrie Big, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I think they're trying to prepare us for the future of a lot of old people. I mean, we're going to be the first generation that's going to die before our parents. And I think they're preparing us for the elites just to have a bunch of women, young women. What they said, the new age of buying the first house is 50. They're trying to induce this 50-year mortgage. This will be the have and have nots with women. And also, if we want to talk about like the old days with boys, back in the day, I mean, we already know who's taking over America, small hats. And back in the day, during the military, they had many boy servants, which were sexual servants. I mean, we always try to promote how a lot of little girls are victims, and they are. But the biggest in the trafficking is boys. And it's not always just sexual. It could be work. It could be mines. It can be things like this. I mean, the true history of this is very deep. And I just think they were preparing us for that. For her to say, well, there's a difference between 5 and 15 or 5 and 12. Well, of course there is, but it's still wrong and it's still terrible. And the difference shouldn't have to be explained to make it seem like one is okay over the other.
Well, here's my thing.
Yeah,
she never explained what the so-called difference was.
Yeah,
there's my whole thing. That's what I'm saying. By the way, there's a difference. Okay, what is the difference? Because I don't think you can explain this in such a way that it's going to be, we're all going to be like, oh, well, now when you say it like that, I can't imagine what you're going to say that's going to make us have that reaction. I just can't imagine what it would be.
Yeah, I don't think, without sounding disgusting, could you explain the difference? It's either way it's gross, and it should not have been brought up, in my opinion.
I think she already said what she meant. Well, I mean, at that age, they can pass for something else. Okay, but that's still not justifying it. So what are you really saying? And I'm just saying there's only one element she didn't say, which is, well, you're old enough to understand what you're doing.
And I mean, what I was thinking she was saying was, she is able to have children, even if it can destroy your body. Some people are having their cycles at 9 years old. So I think that's just what it is. And it's disgusting. You shouldn't have to say it, but I think that's just what it is. And the world we're going through, I just feel like they're pushing it. They're pushing it younger and younger and younger and younger. And they want it to be okay because this island stuff, we know what happened on that island. We've heard the stories. If you don't know, we have rumors. And as they were saying, they were just trying to get younger and younger. This is who these people are. They have been perpetual. They love the children. This is why, I mean, those people, the melanin challenged people, have the highest rates of child pornography. They have the highest rates. You can look at the FBI statistics. And this is why you can go to jail for life for hard and soft, but you can just get in trouble for a child. This is what they're trying to get rid of the list. In Canada, you're not even on a list that you can look up. Look at the Canadian laws. They just made it legal where they can deal with animals and not get in trouble. Like they decriminalized it. This is who they are, and we just gotta be honest about it.
Yeah, I mean, remember, in their world, the whole thing we've been talking about white supremacy is that the ultimate goal is that if they're white and they want to do it, they should be able to do it. And you putting any type of limitations on them, that is the problem. The problem isn't what they want to do. The problem is you trying to put any limits on them. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me see if I can get James up here on Zoom for me right quick. Let me see if I can get James up here right quick for us. See if we can get that going for us here. So let me get James up here. I don't see James. I can give you a half a minute there, James. Okay, James is upside down, but all right. All right, James, what's on your mind?
Hey, how do you do, Jason? Thank you for the broadcast. This broadcast in particular reminds me of the missiles that we dodged from the Harris and her running mate administration. I remember hearing how they were allowing male homosexuals to indoctrinate children in school without any parental consent. They just decided to do it. And also, they wanted to put, or they did put tampons in boys' restrooms or locker rooms. So, yeah, we thought it was the big one because there's no telling what other things had the power with the presidency to have done to our society.
But brother, they doing this under Trump right now.
What are they doing under Trump? I'm not sure.
Everything we're talking about right now with Epstein, this is happening under Trump, sir.
Yes, sir, but Epstein wasn't in elementary school. I'm saying in particular that they were allowing that kind of influence into schools. I couldn't imagine.
But brother, what I'm saying is that, but even under Trump right now, he just sat here a couple months ago and told you, why are we still talking about Epstein?
Yes, sir.
I mean, he literally said, why are we still talking about Epstein? That ain't the issue. And here we get more emails talking about, damn, here's the damn issue. So this isn't a Kamala Harris Democrat Republican thing, man. This is a them thing.
And I agree with you, but they were so blatant with it. And with that blatancy came the realization that this is the absolute direction that they were heading our society in, starting with our children. So can you imagine going to school and this great big linebacker punk ass man with lipstick and lashes telling you how to suck a ding-a-ling? No, sir. I don't think the Trump administration is going in that direction. And if it was, it wasn't as overt as it was shown.
That makes it even worse, though, brother. I mean, what you're saying, that doesn't actually make it better because we know that's what they're doing. You say, well, they're not as overt. The fact that they are more sneaky and more clandestine with it, that actually makes it worse. Because that means that they know us well enough that they know what we're not, that they got you snowed under and you're not even suspecting them. So if they can do it and you're not even suspecting them, that actually makes it worse. It's better to have somebody who's out in the open with it than somebody who's sly enough that they know how to get past your defenses and you focus on something else while they're still getting away with it.
Well, for sure, there's no getting away with putting Kotexes in the boys' bathroom. No.
Okay, brother, but Epstein Island didn't require that. Jerry Sandusky didn't require that.
Yes, sir, but you had to have means to participate in that particular thing. And like you said, it was undercover because there were children supposedly that were being trafficked through that system. But we talking about straight up and up. Soon as your child goes to school, second period, here come RuPaul, Big Brother.
Well, brother, like I say, I mean, I understand what you're trying to say here, but yes, it's we got the Republicans. Mike Johnson is sitting up there covering for it as we speak. So I definitely got to disagree with you there. But thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I mean, Mike Johnson's a Republican. He's been defending it now for months. Republican from Louisiana. And this is how crazy the situation is, man. This is how crazy it is. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom and see if we can get Brother Shakir up here on Zoom. All right, Brother Shakir, what's on your mind?
Hi. Trump has ordered the DOJ to open an investigation into Democrats like Bill Clinton and others in regards to Epstein. Pam Bondi has complied. In doing this investigation, that means, or do you think that means that they can suspend releasing of the files indefinitely because it's an open investigation?
Well, no, because technically speaking, the whole point of them putting together that House petition was that bypasses all that. Now, if Trump and them just blatantly refused to do so, now we got a whole different issue. But the reason why they wanted to take this particular procedure is so that it would not be subject to the usual rules of disclosure that Trump and them have been using. So really, they would just have to refuse to release them, and this is going to start something different. But technically speaking, it's not supposed to be that.
Okay. Now, do you know anything about Lisa Phillips? The reason why I asked about her, she was 21 years old when she got involved with this Epstein stuff. She's Black. I don't know if she's of foreign descent. I don't know if she's what you would call FBA, African American, whatever. Do you know any information about her?
I mean, like I said, I mean, I've seen them out there and whatnot. I don't really know anything in particular because here's my thing. For me, seeing all those women lined up, that doesn't do anything for me if y'all are going to come out here and then claim we know who the people are and we're going to name names and you don't name any names. So at least Corey Feldman named names, okay? I mean, at least he said names. These chicks are lining up and stuff, and I'm just saying, when they lined up and stuff and then they ain't saying any names, here we are months later. As far as I'm concerned, that really hurts your credibility. If these things happen to you, whether them folk lying on Michael Jackson said his name, so how is it you claim that this was you were on Epstein Island, this was happening, and you're not saying any names? I just think I know some things happened, but I also think that there are folk out here who are using it for their own purposes. And that's why, just Trump is full of garbage. There's nothing on Bill Clinton in there or anything like that. There's nothing on Trump in there. But folks are trying to see if they can use it, to bamboozle the public. The people that we really need to be talking about is the money. The two things that nobody's talking about is, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein had a client list, or at least he had clients, but also he got paid and he paid them. There were hundreds of millions of dollars that went through Chase, or at least tens of millions of dollars went through Chase Bank. They made emails about it. Where did that money come from when it came into Chase? And where did the money go to when Jeffrey Epstein took it out of Chase? Now, Brother Shakir, because you've been here just like me, they locked down the banking system after 9/11. So they track everything in the banking system now. They know where the money came from and they know where it went. We don't have to wonder about it. So forget naming names. Why are they not telling us where the money went? Follow the money.
Oh, the reason why they're not telling is because they know where it went. And if they told you where it went, it would incriminate people that they don't want to incriminate.
If they told you where it came from and if they told you where it went after that. Because just for example, if you find out that, I don't know, I'm just saying a name out of nowhere. If you find out Bill Gates gave Jeffrey Epstein $5 million for whatever reason, you're going to have questions about that. You're going to have questions about, hey, what did he do for you that was worth $5 million? Because we know he didn't do computer programming. I mean, he was a so-called teacher and financial analyst and tax specialist. What did he do for Microsoft? Bill, you needed his help with that? So if you just follow the money, which nobody's talking about, that's going to answer a bunch of questions for you right there. And that's the part that all this kabuki theater about Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and stuff like that is all to prevent you from asking about, by the way, all you multi-billionaires, did any of your money go to him and what was it for?
Well, that's true. And the only thing that I would say in closing is just that when it comes to these, I don't understand the fascination that grown mature men have with children or underage young adults. To me, I prefer a woman who is aged and has a certain amount of maturity, not a certain, because I think she's very beautiful at 33. She's got a strong face. I just I can have a conversation with her, on that level, but I don't see the fascination with young adults and children. You were supposed to guide them and teach them, not lay up with them.
Well, like I say, you just have to have a certain type of psyche, a certain type of dysfunction. I don't think it's really a desire. I don't want to get in the minds of these people, but I don't think it's really a desire for them. It's more of an aversion of. So I think you're dealing with a bunch of males who have like a Peter Pan type syndrome. Sometimes it manifests itself as you get stuck on an Xbox. The other time it manifests itself with this, you just basically haven't progressed beyond a certain age level. And that's where physiologically and biologically you're kind of fixated there. Or you got mommy issues, parental issues, and this is where you go to express it. And that's actually more of it. People, we got more psychos in the Fortune 500 than you do in the general population. I need y'all to really understand that. There are more legit psychopaths and sociopaths in Silicon Valley and in the Fortune 1000 than in the general population of society. These are like very concentrated pockets of psychopathy. People who have no empathy. They can witness people suffering. They have no sympathy whatsoever. They are dark triad, narcissistic, Machiavellian, sadistic, anything else you want to add in there, ick. We have a bunch of people, corporate America, entrepreneurship, venture capital, these are breeding grounds for dark triad. These are breeding grounds for psychopathy, because what they found is that people with psychopathic traits make decisions. They make very objective decisions. So whereas you would hesitate because of the human factor, you have this guy over here who it doesn't register to him at all. He makes these decisions with no concern about the, quote, human factor. So while you're sitting there trying to figure out how to avoid that, Elon is like, move fast and break things, even if it kills people. Remember, he literally said that when we start colonizing Mars, the first folk who go there, they're not going to be coming back. And that hasn't prevented him from doing it. Yeah, you're not going to be coming back. Yeah, we're just going to sacrifice y'all. Let me get another $50 billion from the U.S. government. This is literally what you're dealing with. So do you think he has a problem with watching you die in his self-driving cars that he knows aren't ready?
Does the president have an analyst?
What type?
A psychological analyst. I mean,
no.
Anyone in that position, because of the stress of it.
No, there's no checks and balances on the president's mental health. We already proved that with Biden. Obviously, they're not even checking them for cognitive ability anymore. But then again, the presidents don't run things. They haven't for a while. I mean, you know that. George Bush wasn't running nothing. It was Dick Cheney and the rest of them. Dick Cheney, Paul Wolfowitz, his attorney, David Addington, John Yoo. Those are the guys running it. They were. Barack Obama was Tom Daschle and that crew he had behind him. Joe Biden, we already know he wasn't running a damn thing. Clearly, Nancy Pelosi was running it, because when she said he got to get out, he got out. So, no, bro. Donald Trump is Miriam Adelson and what's his name? Bennett, Scott Bennett and Bessent, Scott Bessent. And yeah, that's who's running this.
Well, Jason, the older I get, the less I think I know about what's actually going on. I don't have any direct connections. I know what I read and I know what I see, but there's no way I can verify it. It's just if I choose to believe it. Like, what did Marvin Gaye say? Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. So, I mean, I can see and hear things, right? It's whether I choose to believe them or not.
If you want to know who's running your government, take a look at the people that the president never messes with and don't talk about. I'm just letting y'all know. Take a look at the people that he don't mess with, and the people in his cabinet. If you want to know who's really running it, take a look at the cabinet people that he doesn't say, that the presidents don't say anything about. Remember when Alan Greenspan was head of the Fed? They didn't say nothing about him. Scott Bessent, Trump talks trash about everybody. He don't say nothing about Bessent, not a word. Bessent got in and he can just do whatever he wants to do. And well, he ain't said a word. So that tells you that he's plugged into the real power. Bessent is the representative of the real power, the people who really run this thing. That's their man. And Trump is like, do whatever the hell you want to do. Don't mess with Scott. A president can come up missing. We gave you your warning in Pennsylvania. You can come up missing. So if y'all want to know who really runs things, from whether it's Biden, Obama, Clinton, take a look at the people in their cabinet. There'll be at least 2 folk in their cabinet that they don't ever talk about, they don't push back about. That person just gets to do whatever they want to do. Under George W. Bush, Dick Cheney did whatever he wanted to do. The damn vice president making presidential moves, and the president ain't saying nothing except, oh, well, whatever he says, y'all roll with it. To the point that he was making policy. He was making policy for the president. Never happened in U.S. history. That's the guy running it. He's the real one running it. Oh, yeah, one more thing. These were also people with a certain amount of mortality hanging over them. You notice there's always that kind of thing going on now. They ain't got too much longer to live for whatever reason, or something could happen to them. It's not a bunch of questions. Dick Cheney had a heart condition. Barack Obama had Biden, which we already know he was going senile, and he was on one leg. Kamala Harris, completely useless. Donald Trump already, what the hell's happening on that hand? And all this other mess going on. So the real people running it, nah, man, they sitting right there.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. I need y'all to understand that's who runs it. If you want to know who runs the place, take a look at the person in the cabinet who the president don't say anything about. He doesn't talk about them. He doesn't criticize them. He doesn't push back. He never threatens their job. That's the guy who's plugged into the real folk in power. That's him. He's their representative. The president's the figurehead. He's symbolic. But the guy who actually picks up the phone and talks to the folks who run things, well, he's that guy over there. Trump can't get along with anybody. Elon Musk, your ass got to go. Scott Bessent, he doesn't even acknowledge Scott's existence. And we know Scott is doing hella havoc. But we finally found somebody that Donald Trump doesn't talk about. And that other fellow with the beard, the other one. But those 2 guys in particular, he doesn't say anything about them. Elon got to go. Vivek got to go. Kash Patel sidelines. Scott and the other dude, we're all cool. Do what you do, fellas. They sitting up there negotiating with China, and they're telling Trump when they're going to be done with the negotiations. You go back to the White House and play golf. We'll go negotiate with China. I'm telling y'all that's how you identify who runs it. From now on, y'all know how to actually identify who runs it. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Lewis up here on Zoom right quick for me here. There's Lewis. All right, Lewis, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Lewis. This newfangled technology has him confounded. Lewis is involved in Mortal Kombat with his cell phone, and the phone is winning. Folks, Lewis is involved in a death match with his cell phone. All I see is a finger furiously bamming away on the screen. Okay, brother, I think the cell phone has you in a submission. All right, I know I'm the host. Okay. All right, I think we got that back up and going here. My folks who are on Zoom, where are we at? All right, let's see if we can get Zoom user up here. Let me see if we can get your Zoom user up here. I'm back with you all. So, all right, Zoom user was there. They jumped up. They ran. Okay.
No, I'm right here. Don't.
All right, brother.
Don't stop.
Man, you look like you on safari with Earth, Wind, and Fire, brother. Where'd you get that gun up from? He got the Charlie Wilson hat, but I'm just like, oh man, hold on. I didn't know they had the camouflage version.
Come on, I do. And I got my QR code for my business on the back. At 75, I'm like way ahead of the game.
I heard you. What's on your mind, brother?
But anyway, I follow you all the time. I mentioned your name in a conversation and was scorned and ridiculed. And after that, I was mentioned in the same breath with Dr. Claude Anderson, and I thought, okay, these people with that descendant of slavery program are just nuts now. But anyway, this is my thing. The 50-year mortgage, Kamala and that group had floated a 40-year mortgage. And this was to kind of support this feminist, we don't need a man, and first-time buyers would primarily be women. And this would be a way to get Black women into homes. But 25 years to 65 is retirement in 40 years. Okay, what they're doing is trying to remove the home as being an investment and do the chicken in every pot, a car in every garage. So now you get one home for your life.
Now,
Okay.
now there you go. I say what you were saying at first was straying a little bit, but that last part you said now that nails it on the head. That you'll basically be tied to that transaction. Yes. That the wealthy will have mobility to move around, and the rest of you going to have to take whatever is left over, but you're only going to get one. And you'll basically be tied to that transaction essentially for the remainder of your days.
Now, think about this. Our folks, we don't do marriage anymore. Okay, so now that concept is going to mean that a single woman with some children gets to ride that house out, and that one house is for her kids, the grandkids, and some more kids are going to be in that one.
And that won't work.
House.
That won't work.
I know it. I know it's not going to work. But what I'm saying is,
what I'm saying is that your example can't work at all. Period. I mean, I'm just saying logistically that doesn't work because it doesn't work now. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you have a woman who has 3 children. Okay, she's got that one house. She's going to be there for the rest of her life because she can't afford to move. The children are going to be grown by 18 years old. They can't wait around for mama to die to have a place of their own. So they're going to have to leave. So she's going to die with the house, and that's going to be it.
Mom can't afford for them to leave. That's what's going on now. When you have 2-parent household, a boy gets to be 18 or 19. Oh, it's not going to be 2 men in this house. If you going to school, you can stay here. You working, blah, 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 you stay here. Otherwise, son, you got to go and start your own life and so forth. Well, in our modern Black society, we don't have the 2 parents, so the mother don't want the son to leave. The son becomes kind of like a pseudo husband and security, and now he feels obligated to help her with rent, and not help himself go out and be a man and start his own family, because now he feels like he's abandoning his mother that has trapped him in this, you don't need a woman, women don't want you anyway. Your best bet is to just stay here with your mother.
Well, yeah, I mean, now what I'm saying is that numerically speaking, that's correct. But let's go back to the example you gave. You have a woman with 3 children. Yeah, that'll work for one baby boy. That is not going to be viable for all of them. So, yeah, there might be one sibling who can accommodate that. What about the other 2 or 3?
I don't think with the way we're raising children that they have the ambition to be by themselves.
But brother, I'm not cutting you off here, but what I'm saying is that do you realize the example that you gave actually refutes that, because that's the whole genesis of it. If you're trying to extend the mortgages to 40 and now 50 years to give opportunities to these first-time home buyers, then that actually does satisfy the requirement you just made for the other folk there. So I'm saying that actually closes the loop.
Well, we'll see. But the thing is, now they don't have the incentive of investment and building. Now you can't use that home to build, because by the time you get any equity in it, you're 50 years into it, and you can't, it doesn't have any value. It's like you're renting. It's like you're actually renting, but you have the responsibility of home ownership, and you're not going to get enough equity in this property ever.
So numerically, that's an inaccurate statement, just not the way you're thinking of it, because you will have equity in it. We see that right now. Here's the problem. If the housing values across the board are all rising, the problem is everybody who's got a house, you will not be able to afford to leave it. You'll have equity in it, but that does you no good if the rest of the market has been rising along with the value of your home. So if you sell the house you're in, where are you going with your house and all that equity? Because the rest of the houses cost more.
Well, now you can't sell the house because you're paying on the interest for like the first 40, 50 years of that 50 year for the first 20 years of that mortgage. So you don't have any real value in that property. An economist was just talking about this just the other day, that there is no value in a home that it has a 50-year mortgage until after like year 30 before you get a little bit of value.
Well, I guess it depends on what the terms are that you got. I don't think it would take 30 years to be able to square that circle, but I certainly do think that with the terms being what they are, if the available housing supply is still constricted, you're not going to have anywhere you can go. Because the real question is, once you get in a home, are you going to be able to find another one for similar or less value that you can go to? Because if you're just going to leave where you're at to go to something that's even more expensive, well, that neutralizes the value of leaving where you are. And that's, I think that's the actual trap you'll be in, which is what we see today. Only now it'll just be ironclad. You put a 50-year mortgage on somebody, that's going to be ironclad.
Oh, yeah, you're there forever. Now,
especially with the average home buyer today being 41 or 43 years old, that means you'll be 90. Yes. Forget about it.
Yes.
The mortgage will outlive you at that point.
That is correct. That's why I said the kids are going to have to be there to help pay for it in your elderly age. But think about this. Right now, when you guys talk about the dark money and stuff out here in Arizona, there is a development where this big company bought a whole tract of property, built, I don't know how many homes are in this property, but they're all rentals.
Yeah, it's called build to rent. And so you have large developers out here building entire subdivisions, only these are not built to buy, they're built to rent.
Right.
And that's been going on now for the better part of a decade. So
now think about this. You've got people with the Airbnbs that are corporate dark money that are buying these properties and turning them into Airbnb, which takes away affordable housing from people that just want to get a home and raise a family. Now you have a residential property being flipped into a commercial property in your community, which means you got different people coming in and out of your community just to party, just to stay overnight, looking at your community, casing your community. This is a problem in general for affordable housing when you got corporate people that are buying the housing and then not making it available for people that just want to buy a home and live. So I think what we really should do is just start outlawing Airbnb.
Yeah, I mean, we need to have a housing Glass-Steagall Act. We had a banking Glass-Steagall Act. We need a housing one. If you're going to be all these Wall Street investment firms, not just Wall Street, but if you are an investment firm, you really need to be out of the single family market. Investors should not be buying up the residential housing single family stock. If you're an investor, you need to be doing multifamily, apartments, high rises. Y'all go knock yourselves out. But you need to be out of the residential housing, single family housing market altogether. Too many of them are abusing it.
Not to cut you off. Let me run this by you, and then I can kind of close, because we've been kicking around. Everybody's kicking around the reparation issue, and oh boy, we get reparation, and that's the fix all. All right, now, do you have a backup plan if in fact that doesn't happen? All right, well, I suggest this for Black communities across the country. If you don't have a marketplace in your community, then you fail. If you don't have a place of commerce in your community and that other organization, they shot it down with this kind of resistance. Well, you got to buy stuff from Amazon, you got to do it and shop amongst yourself. No, creating a marketplace in your community is to attract outside money into your community, not to just trade and buy and shop amongst yourselves. It is for you as a community to put together a marketplace with your goods and services. I'm in the upholstery business, magazine and media. Okay. I'm in a position to hire people in my community. But you know how it is, our people won't work for us. Nobody wants to work for us. So, but at the end of the day, you've got to have like a little Chinatown, like a little Jamaica, like a little Havana. If in every Black community, there is not a place where people say, well, oh yeah, well, where can I get Black businesses? Where are they at? Oh, well, yeah, they own such and such a street. They have, you can call it a swap meet, you can call it whatever you want. But they have a place where every day they are available to sell their hats, sell their jewelry, sell their insurance company, sell whatever it is that their profession is. And then I mentioned vocational training. I'm in the upholstery business. Okay. Well, if something happened to me because I don't have family and I run the business myself, well, I've been in business for 25 years. I have a brand that I have built. Well, if something happened to me, my business, my brand dies right then. Okay, but with family or other people in the community working, it can continue long after I'm gone.
Well, I mean, basically what you're referring to is a code of conduct. More important, the only thing I think that's more important than economics, and I'm the original economics guy, but the only thing I think is more important than economics is the foundation, which is a code of conduct. If you are not all on the same page, or if enough of you are not on the same page, it doesn't work. And the code of conduct starts in the home. That starts with you, your woman, your children. The code of conduct doesn't start across the street. It starts under the roof that you're on. So if you don't have a code of conduct with your bloodline, you can forget about having a code of conduct with folk across the street. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Let me see if we can get iPhone up here on Zoom for me. And like I say, that the housing thing, that's going to be tough. You know, once people start moving out, if the kids are gone, you know, there's not going to be anybody to pay that off. You're going to outlive the mortgage is going to outlive you, and then private equity is going to get the home. The kids are going to have to at some point leave before then. And the idea is that the houses will get built. You'll take care of financing the first 30 or 40 years. You're going to die. And then the kids are going to wind up, the private equity is going to get the house because your kids are going to have to leave and go to some other state to get a job and a place to live. And after 30 years, private equity will get the homes. All right, we got Timmy up here on Zoom. Timmy, what's on your mind? Wake up, Timmy. Timmy, you are killing my program. Last try, Timmy. Speak. All right, y'all. Timmy looks so lost. All right, baby, call us back next week, ma'am. It's just, I don't know. She grabbed the iPhone 4 this time. I guess she was in a hurry. She didn't have the iPhone 10. She grabbed the iPhone 4. All right, Roland, what's on your mind?
Hi, how you doing tonight, Jason? Again, another excellent broadcast. But I just wanted to jump in and again, caveat back to, you know, what we always know that Neely Fuller said: if you don't understand white supremacy, everything else that you do,
everything else you think you understand will just confuse you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this all these things that we're seeing is just about either consolidation of power or just being able to exhibit and flex that power. I mean, just like you mentioned about being able to do stuff with your kids, you know, being able to take that right from you. You can't even discipline your children now. I mean, there's like so many different things that they're using to either reconsolidate power or cement in like the permanent caste system. I mean, it's all about domination. It always circles back to domination. Before they were on a global kick of dominating everybody else that was melanated, they were doing it to one another in Europe. They had serfs. They had like serfs and fiefdoms in Europe. I mean, where you were tied to the land. You didn't own that land. It was just a whole feudal construct. So these are things that we just have to remember. This is like literally in the construct of their order of operations. It's like a whole psychological thing. It's built in. And the more that we understand that, the more that we'll understand that these things just circle back to where they've been. And, just like a dog going back to its vomit, it's just going back to the original status quo that it was already at.
If you are willing to defend George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and slavery in America, well, then eventually you're going to get around to the Spartans and Caligula and Caesar and what they were doing. Eventually, according to Nick Fuentes, there's a direct through line, remember? For Western culture. So if you're going to defend the slave owners and the deists and the 33rd degree Masons on American soil, well, then you're eventually going to end up with this other stuff here too. And then all of a sudden,
well, not we, but they iconize.
And what Megyn is saying all of a sudden won't seem so crazy and radical. When you take a look at the long arc of history, you're going to end up there. You sure will.
I mean, it shouldn't be lost on anyone that like literally these are like those people you mentioned. Those are the people that are pedestalized. So I mean, if you're pedestalizing them and trying to glance over those, what they would say, those small nuggets of history that nobody talks about. Those small
if you can
tidbits.
gloss over slavery, you can damn sure gloss over a child trafficking. You can damn sure do that. I mean, slavery is human trafficking, and a lot of them were children too. So brother, it's not even a hop, skip, and a jump. It's just one step over.
Oh yeah, it's baked into the procedures, literally.
I mean, where there are too many arguments that are already running parallel to it currently. So it's just like it's not this huge stretch of the imagination to get there. It isn't. The only problem is that those of us in polite society have simply avoided these kind of conversations. Okay, but over there in Epstein land, they talk about this all the time. This is the daily conversation they have. For us, we don't talk about this garbage except once a decade. Them folk, they talk about it every day. Take a look at your legislatures and stuff. They talk about this mess the folks really pushing these agendas, they talk about this every day. As far as they're concerned, the only thing that's frustrating is they can't get us to move faster.
Absolutely. And the goal is always to sneak in a little bit more to see what's going to be acceptable. And the more they can sneak in, the more they can just kind of, until before you know it, it's almost like when SEALs train, they do that surf training, they get in a little bit of the water at a time, or like the analogy about frogs in hot water, saying if you adjust the temperature just a little bit at a time, eventually, so you can cook the whole frog without the frog even noticing that they're being cooked. That's literally what's going on right now. But everybody's so oblivious. And I remember there was a time when people used to like scoff when people would bring these things up, and you would get the whole, you're a conspiracy theorist, or you're being hotep, or you're being whatever, because you're bringing up these things like, hey, these are real things that are happening. Like, you can't be oblivious to this. There's there's been organizations around like this for years, like the NAMBLAs, all these different organizations.
Here's the thing. The thing is, NAMBLA has always gotten, a lot of attention in that regard. But I don't think there's a situation where people don't know about this. I think that a lot of people are aware of this. But what do you do as the citizenry when your political class is ignoring you? That you've made it very clear that you're not okay with this, and no matter who you vote for, and no matter what they say on the campaign trail, as soon as they get in office, it turns to surprise, nigga. And next thing you know, here we go, no matter what you do. So what do you do when all of your political candidates are Manchurian candidates, and all of them are working against you, no matter what? Tonight's program, I was going to do tonight's program about MAGA is dead. Because remember, I was the guy who said that first. Now everybody's talking about Nick Fuentes said MAG is dead. I'm like, you're late, Nazi. But anyway, MAG is dead. I told him it's been that way. It was a bait and switch the whole damn time. Jason, why didn't you jump on Trump out there the first time? I said, because it's already over. The clowns who believe in him, you're the idiots. I said that from the beginning. So I'm just like, I don't have to rush to get to this. This train gonna arrive no matter what occurs. And here you are. All the MAGA folk who voted for Trump, they're all upset now because what do you do when the politicians you voted for ignore you? They got a whole different agenda from anything you talking about and doing. Now what do you do? What do you do when you realize it doesn't matter what I do or say, they're ignoring us?
Yeah, it's going to take a critical mass of the people to get together and make change through other avenues. I mean, that's the only way. But I mean, you got to get enough people, not a lot. Again, just a critical mass, just enough people with that drive to do so. To make changes through other avenues. I mean, I don't know what those avenues might be. I'm sure,
like I said, there's only so much we can say here, but definitely, January 6th gave you a precursor. And what was scary about that for the government was the population at large didn't really get agitated or upset about that. There wasn't a bunch of folk in the streets talking about, save our politicians and save the Capitol.
Right.
That wasn't what was going on. That was not what was happening. So, yeah, but then again, they're the disposables. They're the expendables. The politicians and whatnot, I don't want to get too wonky about it, but when you take a look who's paying for these things, Elon Musk put if you count Twitter, you figure about $50 billion into the 2024 election. If you count the purchase of Twitter, now we see what it was for.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, everybody there didn't realize it. Now we know what it was for. He spent $50 billion to get Trump in office. Next thing you know, Tesla has now approved him to get $1 trillion in compensation over the next decade. So are you kidding me? That was a steal. Now we know what it was for. Why would you spend $50 billion to get $1 trillion? Now we don't have to guess anymore. We got confirmation. That's what it was for. That was what it was for. Now, if you had known, I was just thinking it was going to be somewhere around 500 billion. I figured it was going to be somewhere around there. Nope, 1 trillion. Here we go. So when they spend that kind of money, that's who owns your politicians right there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's who owns them, especially with Trump so nakedly corrupt and obvious here. He's just doing flagrantly corrupt things now. The Bitcoin scam and the crypto scam and the real estate scam and the Qatari thing.
To foreign nations.
Yeah, the Qatari thing that's going on. I mean, they just dropping they used to have to smuggle the money in. Now they just come by and drop it on the desk on their way out the door. That's what's going on now, man.
No more brown bag action.
Yeah, they're like, that's taking too long. Come on, just drop it over here on the desk, man. Don't worry about it. This is where we're at today. So that's who runs things. The Qataris run it. Elon runs it. The billionaires and in their way trillionaires, they're the ones running it and telling the electorate, kiss your asses.
But I mean, this place has always been an oligarchy. I mean, it was started at, for the purpose of making money. I mean, the whole institution, that's why people give it the nickname America Incorporated. But I mean, now it's, like you said, it's even more blatant. I always thought it was crazy that we would allow super PACs and these lobbyists to just, buy the politician. It's always been an open secret, but like, as you said, now it's like, it's so obviously blatant. I mean, it's...
Never forget Julius Caesar took control of Rome legally. Julius Caesar didn't steal anything. He didn't subvert anything. He didn't hijack anything. He didn't overthrow anybody. Julius Caesar seized control of Rome legally. Adolf Hitler and the National Socialist Party in Germany, never forget, they took control of Germany democratically. They did not walk in and arrest people and seize them. And they tried that with the beer hall pooch and got a guy who got put in jail. Well, after that failed, when they came back, they took Germany democratically. They got voted in. As a matter of fact, that was the plan, to use the mechanisms of democracy against itself. Never forget that that was legal. Never forget they were democratically elected and it was legal.
And he wrote what he was going to do.
And now in North America, here you are.
Same play.
You have democratically elected your super PACs. You've democratically elected your oligarchs. Hell, in many cases cheered for them. If Elon Musk had not been so closely aligned with Trump, do you realize how many folk on the internet would have cheered for him? Do you realize that? If he just wasn't so booed up with Trump, how many folk would have been like, this is great. We need someone like Elon to run America. Take a look at how great he's done for Tesla. It would be your dope smoking, flower wearing hippie liberals who'd be saying that. They would be the ones saying it, remember? They'd be like, this is exactly what America needs. We need someone like Elon. He's the good businessman. The rest of them are evil businessmen, but Elon's the good one. We need more businessmen like him. He's the good one.
Well, that was the same play that went with MAGA. I mean, a lot of those, the MAGA followers, the MAGA crowd, they were thinking he was looking for the lower tier white guys. But this guy clearly, is looking out for that 1% that holds all of the wealth. And they were totally oblivious to that. Like total like blind sleep, didn't see it coming.
A little bit off the beaten path here. You're right, but not. And I've covered this before. Y'all, Elon does not see the world the way you all do. Elon, Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, Larry Ellison, Jeff Bezos. I've covered this before. Why do you think they want all this money for AI, robotics, Mars? These guys see themselves as modern day gods. They want molecular engineering, cellular engineering, artificial intelligence to solve the questions that they can't come up with answers for. They want to live forever. They want to transfer. That's a cute term, transhumanism, but the bottom line is, they want perpetuity. They want permanence. And they see technology as the way to get there. That's the only way you're going to get there. So as far as they're concerned, humanity is obsolete. That's their view. Humanity is obsolete. They want to transcend humanity so that they can leave that behind. That's what they're on. Now, if you knew that's what you were voting for, would you still vote for it if you knew that they were saying, by the way, we're really not concerned about humanity because as far as we're concerned, we transcend that. Now, that's literally what they want their wealth for. That's literally what it is. Literally. So when you talk about how they see people, I'm like, do you realize that's how they actually see, quote unquote, people?
Oh, absolutely. Like when you made the example about like Elon saying, hey, we got to get to Mars, pretty much by hook or crook. Whoever goes there first, you ain't making it back. I mean, clearly he sees humans and human life as throwaway, as just a means to an end.
But that the end is that it serves them.
Yeah.
Please understand that. So at that point, your children become expendable. Your children are expendable. Every once in a while, these guys want to have a diversion. But you see, sleeping with a regular woman isn't exciting enough. They want to have tastes and abilities of the rest of you. The rest of you don't have access to this. Who cares if you consider it disgusting? As far as they're concerned, it's eccentric.
Like an acquired taste.
No. Not just an acquired taste. We are the Caesars of old.
Oh yeah, Caligula.
You see, we keep going. You see, we keep going back there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You see, we keep doing that. I'm just letting you know they consider themselves the modern day version of that. And it shouldn't be surprising. When you take a look around Washington, D.C., that's a replica. Mm-hmm. That was basically their reimagining of Rome.
Oh, yeah. They always tie everything back to, Rome, Greece.
Okay, when you take a look at the architecture, the columns, do yourselves a favor, folks. Go and take a look at what the actual Washington Monument was supposed to look like. In reality, the one that you see in Washington, D.C. is only half done. Oh, you all didn't know that. The Washington Monument is actually only half done.
The obelisk, right?
Yes. Don't believe me. Go look.
That's funny.
Go look up what it was supposed to look like. The Washington Monument is actually only half done. I'm not even going to lead you all to that one. Go Google this. If I'm lying, go Google it once you get done with the program and go look up what the Washington Monument was supposed to look like. But they basically just stopped where they were. But actually, in reality, it was supposed to look, it's basically only half done. Basically. A whole bunch of the architecture and stuff is based on Rome. And what I'm telling you is it goes beyond just architecture. It is a culture, it's a philosophy, it's a mind state. For example, I got to remind you all of this right here, folks. And brother, you didn't do it again because you did this here last week, as a matter of fact. But remember, Julius Caesar had a title. For those of you who don't remember, Caesar had a title. God of state. What do we call the president of the United States?
The head of state.
Yikes. Oh, hell.
Yeah. Eerily similar.
Oh, man. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. I'm sure it's just coincidental. I'm certain it is.
Yeah.
I'm certain it's coincidental.
With all the Latin terminology they like to use as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that's just all coincidental. I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm certain it is. Yeah. I'm sure it has nothing to do with it. And we can go down the list, people. You take a look at the oldest stuff. Take a look at how DC is set out. Yeah, there's a pentagram.
Oh, yeah.
We can go down the list if you want to. That's not accidental. It's telling you
all of the masonry.
What I'm saying is that it's communicating to you what they actually believe, what they actually believe in. Jason, do you think that they really thought that they were immortal? What I'm telling you is that's irrelevant. They are putting this up because of what it represents. It represents, at the very least, it represents their conviction that they are more than just men, that they are not just normal men. At the very least, it represents their conviction of that. And on the higher end, it represents they think they might be supernatural, though I doubt that. I've explained this to you all before. The white supremacists and Nordics, why do you think they keep invoking Thor and Odin? Oh, yeah. Do you really think that they think that there's a guy floating around out there with an electric hammer? Do you really think they think that? No. Then why do they keep, in the 21st century, by the way, well, if you don't believe that, then why are they invoking him? Because of what he represents. Oh, and then you find out, they think they're men, but they think they're the men at the top of the food chain. We are the apex. We're the apex men. So even if they are not immortal, they are special. And Thor is a imagining of that specialness, of that uniqueness. And now that they bought into that, this justifies every barbarian thing they do after that. So they understand it's a symbol. They understand that this is symbolic. They get that. And what I'm saying to you is that, yeah, but now these other folk here, at the very least, they think it's symbolic. But at the very most, they're like, you know what? We think we've just about gotten to a point we can do it. At that point right there, your children, you're not even humans, or at least human doesn't mean anything. You're just another organism running around.
Oh, yeah.
So if you really think that you're beyond human confines, you're justified in doing anything you want to do. Anything. And remember what the great statement was these people have: there is no right, there is no wrong, there's only what you do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There is no right, there is no wrong. Then what is there? There's only what you do. You can do things, but there is no right or wrong. There's just doing it.
Sounds very libertarian.
Sounds very Luciferian.
Oh yeah, Lucifer, definitely Luciferian.
No, this
Aleister
goes back to the
Crowley.
Masons, Aleister Crowley, Church of
Yep.
Satan. I mean, because that's where that comes from. There is no right. Yes, I say, do what thou wilt. There is
Do
no
what
right.
thou
There
wilt.
is no wrong. There's only what you do. And if you, I'm not even. I mean, there are other things. I mean, like I said, that Johnny Depp movie, Transcendence and all that. There's that one. What was that? The Scarlett Johansson film.
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yep.
Brother, I mean, they're serious about this. They're not
Oh, yeah.
joking.
Yeah.
They're serious.
Oh,
They
it was a
haven't
movie,
figured it
where the guy
out.
transferred his consciousness.
Yeah, they haven't figured out how to do it yet, but they feel like they're getting closer. They feel like they're getting closer, and I'm just letting you know. They've seriously thought about this, and they are foot to the floor. Right now, we've got what? A couple of $1 trillion being spent on erecting all these data centers, and they are going up in record time everywhere, all together. Brother,
And the
you
Starlink constellations.
you don't do nothing like, do you realize you could start a whole nation with that kind of money?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what do they want these data centers for? They're buying these GPUs from NVIDIA and AMD. Never mind the fact that the GPUs are obsolete within 6 months. For those of you who don't know how GPUs work, they're constantly making newer versions of them. So within 6 months, this is old material. But they're putting $1 trillion. Why are you doing that? You must be in a hurry to get somewhere. There must be somewhere you're trying to go that you are foot to the floor in a hurry for it. And what I'm telling you is that if you really do think that you could extend your life by 50 or 100 years, remember that movie Prometheus, Alien Prometheus. There's Mr. Wayland. He spent $1 trillion to get to that planet and say, okay, how can you extend our lives? Who gives a damn about the money? What do we got to do about that? Now, what if you thought you could actually do it? Now I'm going to go a little bit further, and I don't mean to sit up here and get all X-Files on you all.
Oh, but this is real stuff.
Since I got you all here, I'd like to ask you two more questions. When it comes to technological innovation, do you realize how much of that has been concealed in the last 7,500 years?
I'd say about 90% of it.
I remember in the 80s, the SR-71 Blackbird, it was on the cover of Popular Mechanics, but it was just a painting. Nobody actually had a picture of it. The U.S. government, even in the 80s, refused to acknowledge the existence of the Blackbird. This was in the 80s. We now know that the Blackbird had been in service by that point, had been in service for 20 years. The Blackbird, the SR-71 had already been in service for 2 decades, and the federal government still would not acknowledge its existence, even when a painting of it showed up on the cover of Popular Mechanics. They refused to acknowledge its existence. Then we go to basically SR-71's successor, the Flying Wing. Is that the 117 B-17? The Flying Wing, a plane so secretive you weren't allowed to go behind it. They didn't even want you to be able to take pictures of the back of it. They didn't want you to see the propulsion system. So when you start taking a look at that, these were planes that were in existence for years or decades. By the time that the public was shown these planes publicly, what I'm telling you is that the next 2 generations were already in service. By the time they let you know, by the time they let it be seen by the public, their successors were already in service. I didn't say perfected, I said in service. SR-71 was doing missions for 2 decades before the painting on the cover of Popular Mechanics. Its successors were already in service by the time the Gulf War I jumps off, and then they let you see it. And they let you see the Flying Wing. Flying Wing had already been in service. And then B2 and everything else has come after that. I'm telling you, that's what's occurred there. That's where technology is concerned. Where technology is concerned, that's actually a part of national security.
Oh, yeah.
Technological development. So you see, there's a bunch of things that are out there right now that you don't even know about. Because in the private sector will never pay as much as the government will. The government will pay. The government doesn't just overpay because it overpays. It overpays because it outbids.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Why would you sell it to Microsoft when the federal government will give you a blank check with no oversight? But you got to keep it here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Sam Altman and AI, ChatGPT right now, they're kind of looking at financial trouble. They want the government basically to start paying them money. And they're going to have to do a whole lot more because Trump and them are like, yeah, we ain't going to do that. But I brought this up to say that's what you've done with technology. We know for a fact over the last century there's been technology out there that you were not aware of. But a bunch of other people were.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're talking about their aspirations with AI and molecular engineering and space travel. What I'm saying is, with all of this investment going on and every state and federal government allowing it to go on, and we're just finding out when these centers are getting built, when they're going up. I mean, we don't get to vote on it or anything. It's just 1 week it ain't there. The next damn week there it is. And somebody's hella motivated. I just want you all to think about this for a moment. What if they're not trying to figure something out? What if they've already figured it out? And all this construction is simply for the purposes of implementing it. What if they've already figured out some medical breakthroughs, some technological breakthroughs, and they want to upscale their computing capacity so that they can answer some questions? Some things they're trying to trick out and figure out, and they want more computing capacity. We talk about quote unquote transhumanism as if that's something they're working on. I just want you all to think for a few moments here, just like SR-71 was already in service, and B-17 and B-2 and everything else was already in service. What if there's some other stuff out there that's already in service? And the rest of this is to facilitate that. I'm just saying. Think about that for a few moments.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, but the thing that's going to be not even such so much more tricky, but that's that they're going to have to maintain is the propaganda of releasing the information in the small tidbits that they already do, like technology.
Well, they got you using AI to make cat videos. Imagine that 20 years ago on YouTube, you were having cat videos. Now you got AI. What are people thinking to do? Cat videos.
Oh yeah.
Do you really think that's what Elon Musk has? Elon Musk ever expressed an interest in cat videos? If he wants AI, he already knows what he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
He's not doing it because he's trying to figure out what do we do with this. He already knows. And I submit to you, what you're seeing is a technological arms race. When you had the Manhattan Project, brother, they weren't trying to figure out what they were going to do with it. They already knew what they were going to do. We're making a bomb.
Oh, yeah.
The general public didn't know. Had no idea till the mushroom clouds went up. When they brought Einstein, they knew what they were doing out there in New Mexico. Oh, yeah. They knew what they were doing. So I'm telling you, this all looks eerily like the Manhattan Project. This all looks very eerily like it. It's moving. When's the last time you saw state and federal governments moving this quickly to do anything?
World War II.
Usually it takes decades to get this kind of stuff going. They're just getting a blank check and they're able to run straight through it. Come on, man. The last time we saw this was Manhattan Project or Department of Defense. That's the only time you see something just move this quickly and nobody gets a chance to say anything or stop it. That only occurs when they already know what they want to do. That's not, we're trying to figure out what to do. This is, we already know what we want with this. Yeah, you all make your cat videos. We have something else in mind. And we already know what it is. And we're not telling you. It's a club and you ain't in it. Now, hand your children over, because that's what I like to do for fun on the weekends. In between building these data centers, by the way.
I'll circle back to that.
Yeah, because that's where it comes down to. By the way, the recreation where I unwind is with your kids. So hand them on over here, because that's what I do for fun on the weekends, in between chasing godhood and immortality. And all of a sudden, it makes perfect sense to you.
Yeah. Scary sense. Scary.
Welcome to the new world. Thank you very much. Give us a call tonight. We just wanted to give you all a chance to think that over. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying prove to me it isn't. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying prove to me it isn't. Prove to me it's not really happening. Because I'm just telling you right now, rich people moving this quickly and moving this fast and whatnot, are they really gambling? Everybody's talking about the AI bubble. I'm like, okay, are they really gambling? Do you really think they're gambling? Or do they already know what they're doing? They just want you to think that they don't know what they're doing and they're gambling and we're just flying by the seat of our pants out here. Because I'm just telling you right now, if they knew, everybody's talking about quantum computing and that was not going so great, or at least we think it's not going so great. They might have 5 quantum computers, we don't know. But what if they figured out how to get this thing going? And what if they figured out how to have children serving their needs forever? Something to think about. We're going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's program. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every holiday weekend, some days in between. Click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. This concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.